Hello, and welcome back, just making sure everything looks good over on that part of the screen, to Doomed. Solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. If you're new here, welcome. I imagine if you're in the chat right now, you are not new here. But if you are watching the VODs, every so often I get comments on the VODs, people being like, either negative or positive comments about them. If you're watching these, thank you. It's really appreciated, and I do this for funsies. Because I like this game. Today, on Arkham Horror, no, that's not what this show is called. Today on Doomed, that's right. It's a brand new campaign. We're going to be looking at the new hotness. That's right, Arkham Horror, the LCG's new campaign, Feast of Hemlock Vale. If you, right, I was going to say before, yes, if you are new here, and you're watching this on the VOD, take a look in the comments, or the description rather, and I've timestamped the start of the episode, so to speak. Have I been doing that lately? Ruh-roh. I think I have. I just haven't done Doom in forever.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Flower. Lucky number 13. Unlucky to some. Hopefully not us. I am absolutely chuffed to be here, everybody. Let's just try to organize my sound a little bit better. I'd love for people to be able to hear the... Oh, yes, of course, Crosshair. Thank you. Let's take that. That's what I meant to do, actually. I meant to take... Whoa, too much. I meant to take the desktop audio down. Anyway, it's all good. Exactly, weirdness. You know, what are we talking about luck for? You know, we're already doomed. Okay, team. I'm really jazzed. I said on stream before, and I totally lied. I was going to be doing a prelude, as it were. I was going to be doing a stream where I deck build and theory craft for this campaign I haven't seen before. You know, what does it mean to build a deck that's sort of based in an idea rather than a roleplay scenario rather than whatever. I'm not doing that. I'm just diving in because I want to play. I don't want to have that stream. However, if people are really, really, really interested in the idea, I think Crosshair and I mentioned in Discord that we should probably do that before our next Twomed. No worries, Crosshair. I'm hoping this isn't 6 hours long. I mean, it probably won't be 6 hours long, but what else do I want to say? The plan is we're going to introduce our investigator. We're going to introduce a little bit of their story. We're going to do the drawing of the weakness, and then we're going to dive in. Feast of Hemlock Vale, I should mention for folks who are relatively up to date on Arkham and kind of understand a little bit of the history of the game. This is the third campaign under the new release model. The new release model being everything comes in one box, as opposed to, you get the base part of the campaign and then there's these mythos packs that release new scenarios bit by bit. Because they changed the model here, this has allowed for the campaigns to be a little less, or a little more flexible, a little less rigid in oh, well, this scenario has to have this many cards and this many things, right? They can do whatever they want now, to a certain extent. I'll also point out, this is the first full campaign that wasn't designed by the original creator of the Arkham Horror LCG, Maxine Newman, who has now moved on to Earthborn Rangers, another game I'd love to try. This is all gonna get cut later. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's right, Flower. Wait a second. Okay, so we're excited. The new designers, Duke and Nick, this is their first sort of foray into the thing. Reception for the game has been very good, for the campaign rather, has been very good. I'm really jazzed because I have a sense of what it's going to be like, but obviously I don't know. I think we should just dive in. I don't think people want to hear me kind of blabbing on forever. Welcome to... Oh, I was going to do a thing. Okay, hang on. I'm going to make these... cameras? Nope. Oh, that's camera 1. Okay. Oh, are the cameras still set? Yes! No camera 3, no camera 4. Baby. Oh, Flower. That's camera 3. Camera 4 is going to be on my investigator. There we go. tragically, Flower, I think Frost tokens are... I know that they are limited to Edge of the Earth. The first campaign in the new release model, 2 campaigns ago. That said, I don't know. I feel like there are some sort of spooky, cool, cold scenarios that could maybe just have them thrown in for funsies. But, as you can kind of see here, there's sort of a day-night situation going on. At this point, I'm just going to have to do this to make it go. All right, team. We're going to Hemlock Vale. What is Hemlock Vale, you may be asking? I don't know. Take 1. Action! Whoops, there we go. Well, speaking of action, let us have a look here. I have, as you all know, traditionally, when I play Doomed, solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game, I have traditionally played... Just gonna get a bit more volume on my spooky music here. I've traditionally played one of the investigators from the campaign itself. That came out. Sorry, just adjusting all these audio levels. As always, let me know if things are too loud, too quiet, whatever. We'll do our best to adjust. Today's no different. When Crosshair and I twomed, there is no such necessity. We do whatever feels fun and correct. Get that down another notch. To that end, I really wanted to... a lot of this would have been part of the stream in terms of, like, who am I going to play, why am I going to play that character, etc., etc., etc. Random couples, exactly. Random pairings of wild people. I had, like, a chart of, like, oh, I haven't played this class in a long time, oh, I haven't played a character that is like this in a long time, you know, etc. I had to try to balance a lot of those considerations because also I want to have fun, and I don't want to get completely boned. For example, there are a couple of investigators in Arkham Horror, the card game, that are deliberately, very specifically, made for multiplayer. I'm not going to try to play them solo. That would be silly. Very, very, very silly. Yes, Flower, maybe. Welcome to our investigator, Alessandra Zorzi, the Countess. I love a good party. I'm going to read the flavor on the backside here before we take a look at her in a bit more detail. But yeah, this is Alessandra Zorzi. Hat, coat, bob, haircut. I think we like that. I think we like that a lot. Let's have a look. Alessandra's life of carefree luxury enables her to hop from a stately gala in New York City to a banquet with the Maharaja of India with ease. Ah, damn, that's a good introduction. The Countess has sampled every dish, drink, and dame from Marrakesh to Chicago. Whew! Alessandra, please! The regal title is just an act, however. Behind the scenes, Alessandra uses her cover to pilfer from art galleries, banks, and the hearts and pocketbooks of the rich and frivolous. Her silver tongue has gotten her into and out of plenty of trouble. A new job with the shadowy Zamacona brought Alessandra to Arkham, Massachusetts, where the Countess learned that that more lurks beyond the suggestible rich and frivolous excess than she previously thought. Flower, great question. Yes, I would love to just quickly... I can't really place them, but I will go and grab the card here. Solo, when I played Innsmouth, oh god, I played Silas Marsh, the sailor, who is a survivor, more or less a straight survivor, as it were. I have also played... I'm just looking at the weaknesses to remind myself. I played Calvin. And I think that's actually it. I'll have to look at... who is also pretty much a straight survivor, so to speak. I'll have to look at the others to remind myself whether I've played them on stream or not. We'll see. The Sporty Lady. Oh, Rita, of course. Thank you, Crosshair. Well, honestly, still one of my favorite campaigns. Rita Young, baby. The Athlete. The Sporty Lady. Rita and Pete. That was nice. That was a nice story. Okay, we're coming back. However, this is Alessandra Zorzi, the Countess. I assume that people can understand just by reading this flavor text. I was like, I must. You know, charm. Oh, no, it's all good, Flower. That's what we're here to do, right? Alessandra Zorzi, the Countess, is like, you know, she's witty, she's charming, she's a talker, she can kind of get anything out of anybody that she needs, and then she turns around and behind the scenes she's like stealing from galleries and banks and shit. Like, so she is socialite by day, criminal by night, and obviously I'm super drawn to that. Let's have a look at mechanically what she's kind of doing here. Oh, I'll note as well. She has a regular deck size. She can take rogue cards, neutral cards, and cards with the keyword, or rather, action, parley, level 0 to 5, which we will look at in a second. Alessandra Zorzi, the Countess, 3 will, 4 intellect, 2 combat, 4 agility. Pretty nice. Yeah, I'm gonna say, it's a good question. I'm gonna say, oh, it's really good. Hey, Graspy Loot! Thank you, Graspy Loot. Much appreciated. I was just going over the little intro here for our Countess, the socialite by day, criminal by night. I also can't wait. I'm pretty jazzed. What do I want to say here? Yeah, a relatively flat stat line, but it looks pretty good to me. I have no issue with, you know, 2 4s on a card. That's fine by me. She has 7 health and 7 sanity, and it says you may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to parley. As a reminder, parley is an action that you can take on certain player cards or encounter cards. It's not a sort of like action that you can just take natively, as it were, unlike sort of fight and investigate. To parley means to speak with or to try to negotiate with, right? And she can have an additional action every turn which can be used to do so. Importantly, parley is one of the few actions that does not provoke attacks of opportunity. If you are engaged with an enemy, parleying with them or with anyone does not provoke an attack of opportunity. This is allowed for the design space in the game to be opened up a little bit. So if you have a card that does a thing, but you don't want it to provoke an attack of opportunity, but it doesn't fight or evade, it might be a discussion, a parley or whatever. Quite biased. Her elder sign here, I also quite like this, is +2. If you succeed, choose a non-elite enemy at your location or a revealed connecting location. Automatically evade that enemy. I'll take a free evade as well. Am I out of music already? Good lord. All right, we restart. There we go. As always, of course, let me know if music is too loud or too quiet. So, I'm not doing this deck building stream right now, as you know. I've already built this deck. It's here. We just need to draw our weakness and jump into it. But people should know that thematically, I'm building into both aspects of Zorzi. She's a charmer with a silver tongue and a criminal, so she is doing both. I need to decide with XP if she's leaning more into one than the other. I'm going to add the draw one button as well. Discord has the deck list. Thank you, Crosshair. Yes, it does. So we'll see what she does kind of as we get into it, I think. As a reminder, something we also do here as a nice ritual to prove to ourselves that we won't die, hopefully, is the drawing of the weakness. We draw a random basic weakness. Oh, sorry, we draw 3 random basic weaknesses that we haven't seen before on Doomed, and then choose one of them that feels the most appropriate, and hopefully not the one that is the worst. In previous, I've only started doing this lately, so I got a few sort of weaknesses previously that aren't so great. Ooh, okay, Crosshair. These are all the ones I've done in solo, and you'll notice that here on the side, I'm not going to be replaying them anytime soon because there's so many left. These are all the ones from Doomed. Mine, Crosshair's, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Crosshair and I have played more than 5 scenarios on Doomed, but I haven't included some of the single ones. And you'll also notice there's a little stack up here. These are the weaknesses that I can't take in solo or with this investigator for one reason or another. However, that still leaves us with a lovely stack of 24. All right, team, I'm ready. So, what do we know about Alessandra Zorzi? She is chatting up everybody, and she's doing it to make a quick buck, you know? Why is she going to Hemlock Vale? We're going to find out pretty soon. Let's find out what she might have in store for us. I was really worried I might get this. Fuck. Okay. Dendromorphosis. It just says, plants! Put it into play in your threat area. It cannot leave play while it has no damage on it. Take a direct damage to deal a damage to Dendromorphosis. It also has a health, so you can assign a damage to it. But it takes up both hand slots, which means when you draw this, your hands turn into horrible plants. And you lose everything in your hand slots. This is a strong contender, knowing a little bit of what I know about the Feast of Hemlock Vale, which is a nature-oriented campaign. Panic! Put Panic into play in your threat area. Panic can be healed as if it were a single point of horror on you. Okay. After you take a play, engage, or resource action, you cannot take any of those types of actions for the remainder of the turn. Now, the woman on the left is not Alessandra Zorzi. She's got the finger curls instead of the bob, but finger curls, wave, whatever. It could be her. Interesting. It kind of looks like it, eh? But I don't think that's her necessarily. We also have the Silver Moth. Look at that art. Absolutely horrific. It's a relic. Takes up the accessory slot. You must either put the Silver Moth into play in your threat area, okay, or, and Crosshair, this is an action one, yeah, or take a horror, shuffle it into your deck. It cannot leave play except by the double action, discard the Silver Moth. What does it do if it's in play? You get -1 sanity. All right, guys, here's the deal. It's pretty good. I tend to agree with Crosshair here. It's not that bad. -1 sanity can definitely mess you up. And it's an accessory, which will bump out any accessory you have in play. But you can choose not to put it into play. You can choose to take a horror instead, but then it goes back in your deck. I like the idea that Alessandra Zorzi stole this, and now it's essentially cursed her, right? This feels very appropriate to me in terms of what I know about Hemlock Vale, but let's hope that we can take this mid-campaign. Everyone seems really down. I'm down. I'm gonna say that Alessandra Zorzi stole the Silver Moth from a private collector in Arkham just before this story takes place. All right. Exactly, Flower. Ah, the classic. We're taking the Silver Moth, everybody. Pow. Bad. I just like the idea of her, like, her criminal nature comes back to bite her in the butt. I wish I could zoom in further. Sorry, guys. It was just a color out of space, a frightful messenger from unformed realms of infinity beyond all nature as we know it. From realms whose mere existence stuns the brain and numbs us with the black extra-cosmic gulfs it throws open before our frenzied eyes. Woof. That's as close as I can get, Crosshair. Okay. Welcome to the Feast of Hemlock Vale. I'm doing the bookkeeping before we dive in here, which the bookkeeping being, are there new rules? Are there additional rules? Are there things we need to know? Always and forever? Yes. Well, that's the as close as I can get. I'm sure there's a way to zoom in. All right. So the Feast of Hemlock Vale has a new gameplay concept called the Codex. Flower, that's the thing. Normally I use here, I'll show you what I mean. I used my mouse wheel to increase and decrease the size of the object, but because this is a campaign thing, using the mouse wheel. Oh, I see what you mean. Never mind. Sorry, don't listen to me. Oh baby, hang on. I think we can go bigger. Whee! Oh, baby. All right. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thanks, Flower. Good idea. So, the Feast of Hemlock Vale contains something called the Codex. Certain locations, characters, or enemies in the Feast of Hemlock Vale have codex entries marked with this symbol here called the Codex X. To read a character or location's codex, you pay all costs on the ability, then go to the codex and resolve the text. So it looks like sort of instead of having little story cards, they're keeping stuff in a book, which is cute, that's fine. Codex entries cannot be resolved more than once per scenario unless otherwise stated. The player who triggered that entry resolves the effects, fine. If it instructs players to put a named set-aside resident into play, they come into play story asset side face. I'm just going this really quick. A resident whose name is crossed out in your campaign log cannot enter play, probably because they're dead. I mean, on vacation. While resolving a codex entry, you may only read a single section. If you do not meet the requirements for the first section, skip to the following section. Fine. After resolving a codex entry and making changes, resume play. So, first of all, Crosshair, great. I love it. Write that down. That's going to be good. I just like zooming. I just think... this is all very specific, right? Like, I think we'll figure it out as we go. Basically, characters or cards will have Codex X, Codex 1 or Codex 5 or something. You have to pay the costs, activate the ability, go and read that thing, and do the thing. I'm sure it'll be obvious. 3 days, 3 nights. Ooh. The Feast of Hemlock Vale gives players just 3 days to play out its story. It also contains playable preludes in which investigators may interact with the residents of Hemlock Vale, learn the secrets of Hemlock Isle, and make preparations for the next scenario. That's nice. Preludes are non-confrontational segments that are set up with locations and a scenario reference, act, and agenda. They provide several choices on which scenario to play next. That's nice. Depending on the day and time, they may provide new story options. Okay, so day and time, day and night, will matter. That's fine. Players may earn experience. Record this under unspent experience. Do not spend it until instructed. That's fine. To keep track of the current day or time, you may refer to an update. That's fine. Who cares? At times, stories may instruct investigators to increase their relationship level. I feel like a lot of this is going to be really intuitive, but I'm just going through it to make sure. If instructed to do so, find the resident's entry in the campaign log. Checked boxes is equal to their level. You check boxes, you erase boxes. You can set it to 0. If they're crossed out, they can't enter play. Fine. It's all very straightforward. Most scenarios in this campaign are arranged in a set grid pattern. Locations are connected adjacent. In addition to connection icons, left, right, up, down. Fine. When instructed to put a location into play, place it adjacent, above, below, left, or right of your location. You cannot put a location on top of another. That's fine. During preludes and scenarios, locations are connected only via their icons in certain encounters. That's fine. Again, I think it'll be pretty straightforward. Keywords. We've seen alert before. Alert is a keyword that says if you try to evade this enemy and fail, it attacks you. Okay. Day and night. Oh boy. Oh, this is good. During setup, players may be instructed to put the time marker card into play. Some cards have different effects depending on whether the scenario takes place during the day or the night. That's exciting. Setup instructions may have specific instructions depending on the current day or time. So, example, if it is day 2, put this person into play. That's fun. That's really fun. I will take this opportunity to point out the day-night tracker is this absolute unit of a card. Look at this. Day 1, in which we welcome new friends to Hemlock Vale. I don't know what this style is. It's, I don't know what you would call it. It's like almost sort of medieval kind of tapestry art. That's there's definitely a really cool style going on here. Also point out that day 1, night 1, day 2, night 2, etc. There's art for each one. It's very, very, very cool. Gutenberg. So, just a thought, day or night matters. Great. Elusive. This is new. Some enemies in this campaign have the elusive keyword. They represent enemies who want to avoid the investigators for their own survival or accomplish their own goals. Mechanically, if a ready enemy with the elusive keyword attacks or is attacked, after the attack resolves, they immediately disengage from all investigators, move to a connecting location with no investigators, if able, and exhaust. The effect occurs whether the enemy was engaged or not. So, a couple of examples. I have an enemy that says elusive. I punch it for 1 point of damage. Success. It disengages, disappears, moves to a connecting location, and exhausts. It's trying to get away from you. Similarly, enemy phase. The enemy with elusive attacks you, then scuttles off into the night. Very, very cool. Okay, so that's a keyword. And then patrol, which we've also seen. During the enemy phase, patrol enemies move to a connecting location along the shortest path towards the designated location. So rather than hunting you, they are patrolling towards something. Great, okay. Very straightforward campaign setup. I chose standard, because that's how I always play on standard. 2 -3s, couple of skulls. Guys, it's time. Let's have a look at why Alessandra Zorzi is here. June 1926. Miskatonic Survey, June 1926. Members Marquez, Musgrave, et al. After 3 separate reviews by Miskatonic University's Board and Grant Committee, we have reached Hemlock Isle. Our driver took us across a natural land bridge they call the Causeway, only traversable at low tide, to a small fishing village called Aquan. Bertie showed the locals several sketches and photographs of the alkaline blossom, but the locals would have none of it. Or maybe none of him. Bertie is exceedingly chipper. We like Bertie already. The survey consists of myself, my assistant, Bertie Musgrave, sorry, just making sure that I am not missing anything, and some contacts of Dr. Armitage. He insisted they accompany me as part of the terms of the grant. I just hope they don't get in the way. That's gotta be us, friends of Dr. Armitage. The island is private property and has been off limits to visitors for some time, until now. The locals are advertising some kind of festival throughout New England, even as far south as Boston and Arkham. There were no lodgings in Aquan, and according to local rumors, camping on the island is a risky affair. The locals were unresponsive when I pressed further, but I was at least able to procure a map of the island as well as some basic supplies. We were all but resigned to pitching a tent west of Aquan, but then we met a young man named Theo, who offered us lodging in a village called Hemlock Vale. So far, so good. This is Dr. Rosa Marquez. But really, I think you're gonna love it here, Theo shouts from the truck window. Dr. Marquez, athletic and well-tanned at 40, cheers, closes her survey journal and looks up at the sky. I don't know anyone who doesn't love this is Theo still. I don't know anyone who doesn't love Hemlock Isle, Theo continues. And I don't know why we haven't invited folks sooner. I assume you're here for the feast. Is the feast some kind of local tradition? Bertie says in a crisp British accent. The breeze stirs the round man's shock of thick hair as he leans forward eagerly. Sure. This is the first one ever. Everyone in the Vale's pulled out all the stops so everyone feels welcome. We're just so excited to have visitors. The young man laughs as your truck crests the hilltop. They're going to eat us, right? We're going to be eaten. Hemlock Isle stretches away in every direction. To the south, glistening black lakes dot a tangled marsh all the way to the coast. Up north, white-capped hills gather around jutting obsidian rocks resembling an exposed spine. Past a huddle of hills, the dense western forest grows up the rocky hillside, bisected by a wide river. And even further north, past the white hills, is a bleak rocky coastline at the edge of the slaty Atlantic waters. The road takes you past lush farmland into a village nestled in the hills. Yes, Crosshair. Gaudy floral arrangements and brilliant ribbons hang from rooftops and fence posts. A prismatic rainbow shimmers in a cloudless sky, lending the scene an idyllic air. Hold on to your butts, everybody. As the truck rolls to a stop in the crossroads, locals and children in white gold cloaks and wooden animal masks gather around you, grinning from ear to ear. Willkommen! An imposing woman with steel gray hair and a white gold cloak cuts through the cloud. Welcome to Hemlock Vale. I am Mother Rachel. She's Russian now, I don't... Sorry. I am Mother Rachel, and these are my people. What brings you here? The investigators must decide. We're here on a... Yeah, one of them Russian... Look. Oh, how do I... I don't know, it doesn't matter. We're here on a survey from Miskatonic University, or we're here for the feast. Clearly, Alessandra is here for the feast. We're going to intro 3. I'm not even asking you. We're here for the feast. The matron smiles benevolently. And we are overjoyed to have you. Our food and shelter are yours. The feast is in 3 days' time. We ask only that you open your heart and mind to experience our way of life. Dr. Marquez shoots you a sharp look as she leans forward on her cane. Actually, we're here on a survey from Miskatonic University. Add an Elder Thing token to the Chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. Skip to intro 4. I'm doing that right away. The Jerseyans Elder Thing! Just checking. -1. Great. Mother Rachel's friendly mask breaks for just a moment as she registers your response. Surveillance. I see. You're quite welcome here as well, but mind your place. We have rules. Do not harm anyone in the Vale, and we will not harm you. Keep to the village at night and take care out in the wilderness. Nature is crueler here. Down the road, a small doe walks alongside a pair of children. What? Almost as if to contradict the matron's words. Before you can ask her more, a gaggle of locals descend on the truck, eager for news from the mainland. After fielding multiple questions about sports outcomes and elections... Sure, Alessandra would know that sort of thing. Dr. Marquez suggests you split up to acquaint yourselves with the locals. Ask around about the island and meet back here in an hour. Proceed to setup. So far, so good. Oh, a map! Oh, how charming! Guys. So, this is the village of Hemlock Vale in the dead center. There's a farm, a bog. I'm just looking at all these things. Here's South Point Lighthouse, harbor. I don't know, just looking at stuff here. How charming. Gather all the cards from the following encounter sets. Put the day 1 time marker card into play. Praise the sun! Praise the sun. Okay. Put each location from the Vale into play. Locations are only connected via their connection icons. Begin play at the crossroads. I'm going to do that right away. The crossroads. Okay. So we've got, you'll notice here things are face up. The crossroads. Ugh. We've got the crossroads, the Atwood House, Hemlock Chapel, Tad's General Store, the Commons, the schoolhouse, the boarding house, and the old mill. A lot of places. Alessandra would probably be interested in the personiest of places, the general store, I imagine. We'll see. Set each card from the residence side to side out of play. Now then a steal here. Not with that attitude, Flower. Place Doom on the agenda equal to the number of investigators. Oh. Hot damn. 1. Oh. Don't forget starting Doom. Thanks, setup notes. Okay, we'll be reading that in a second. So we start with 1 Doom. Keep the campaign guide on hand as you play. Codex entries are on the next 3 pages. You are now ready to begin. Playing Preludes in the Feast of Hemlock Vale. Preludes require investigators to set up a map, act, and agenda. Hemlock Vale is generally a safe place. During these preludes, there is no encounter deck. This means investigators cannot use abilities that interact with the encounter deck in any way. Understanding the residents' wants and needs, as well as where they go during the day, is key to building trust with each of them. Your relationship with each resident influences the story and will earn you rewards and experience in later preludes. Okay, right away, this is Alessandra Zorzi's bag. The Countess is here to be fancy, she's here to be impressive, and she is here to make friends. Friends that she can exploit later for benefit. That's the plan. Hemlock Vale is a good place to stock up on supplies. At the end of a prelude, each investigator keeps the following. At the end of a prelude, we keep the following: cards in hand up to their opening hand size. You do not take a traditional mulligan for day scenarios after the... Okay, so after the prelude, we're going to keep up to 5 cards in our hand of our choice. Resources in play up to their starting resources, 5. A single asset in their play area that does not normally start in play, so we get to keep an asset. And all clues. Nice. Okay, so we're keeping stuff after the prelude because we're setting up. We're gathering supplies. And I'm just checking, but I think we are... Yeah, I'm not going to read those. Okay. Hemlock Vale looks pretty chill. Agenda 1A. Welcome to Hemlock Vale. The Miskatonic Survey is staying in Hemlock Vale and making preparations for today's expedition. The more the locals trust you, the better you will understand the nature of Hemlock Isle. No problemo. Forced. Oh, hell yeah. When you draw a weakness, cancel its revelation effect and discard it. Mwah. I love that. Okay. Dawn of the first day. Very Majora's Mask. The village brims with excitement. Children play along the roadside wearing animal masks, while others hang gaudy flowers on eaves and along fences. Investigators cannot take damage and horror or be defeated. So chill. Objective: befriend the locals and prepare for your first survey. Guys, I think this is going to be great. As a challenge run. Oh my god. Befriend the locals and prepare for your first survey. Great. Okay. Well, I'm noticing there's only one clue on the board at the old mill, but if we get it, we can start with it. Yes. That's right, Crosshair. This is the prelude of day 1. We are befriending locals and getting ready for our day 1 survey, whatever that means. Let's draw our opening hand, right? There's no threat here in the Vale. There's no encounters. There's no weaknesses. There's nothing. Yeah, story and chill. Don't worry, guys. I will play scenario 1 after this. 5! All right. Right away. Yes. This is about as good as I can ask for. I'm mulliganing 1 card. Great question, Flower. It says... at the end of a prelude, you keep the following, so including cards in hand up to their opening hand size. Investigators do not take a traditional mulligan for day scenarios, but this is a prelude. It is something I wanted to just double check, and I made sure that I understood. The prelude is dangerless, but you can still take a regular mulligan because when the prelude ends, you get to keep a certain number of cards like that you want, that you've kind of held on to, and you get to keep a single asset out, which is also pretty sweet. So I guess I just need to decide which of these things is the most important for me. Oh, baby. Oh, Zorzi. Okay. A gun, a mask, some fine clothes, some lockpicks, and Beguile. Look at the art on Beguile. This is... I'll point this out. This is Alessandra Zorzi's unique card. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah. I agree, Flower. She has 3 copies of this. Zorzi is the only one who can take it. It's fast. Play it during your turn only. Attach it to a non-elite enemy at your location. Action, parley. So it does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Move the attached enemy to a revealed connecting location. So you tell them, hey, would you go over there for me? Or perform a basic investigate or evade action at its location. If you fail a skill test while resolving this ability, discard Beguile. You may activate this ability from any location. So this is Alessandra Zorzi. What's happening here with Beguile is you are beguiling, convincing, charming an enemy to do your bidding for you, right? Yeah, well, that's kind of it, Crosshair. The power word got hit in the most recent taboo. It now it now requires a willpower test to do the thing that you want to do, which honestly sucks. But I also understand that Power Word is quite good. It's quite powerful. This is a little bit more limited in that it only does 3 things, but also it's fast. Also, you can do it from anywhere. Also, you can have 3. So Flower, yes, you've hit the nail on the head, and this is one of the most important things. Parley now works on a lot of different things that it shouldn't work on, but it does. So we're just gonna have to figure out the story as we go. I am going to have a look here at the crossroads. Okay, some of these cards are not... Oh, God, some of these cards are a bit weird. Okay, the crossroads. The elaborate effigy is the tallest structure in the Vale. Exactly, Flower. It used to be, back in the day. And now it is not. 2 shrouds, 0 clues. There's an action here. You ask the locals about the Vale. And then there's a codex. I think we're going to do that. Free trigger. If there are exactly 1 or 2 investigators in the game during your turn, move to a connecting location. Group limit once per round, so you can free trigger, move out of here, which I will be taking advantage of. Okay. Alessandra Zorzi. She might ask for a mask from one of the people here, which I think would be fun. I am going to... however, she would have arrived in her finest attire. I don't even need to explain why that's the case. Zorzi, let's talk about story here, right? Dr. Armitage, a friend of hers, I guess, who probably knows her as a socialite rather than as a criminal, insisted that Dr. Rosa Marquez take you along. Why is a great question. What does she bring to this expedition? And I have to assume what she brings to this expedition is a sense of... Dr. Rosa Marquez is clearly a very prickly character, and she's probably not going to do any favors to the inhabitants of Hemlock Isle. She's probably not going to be very kind or considerate of them. Zorzi is probably intended to be the face. She's intended to speak with the inhabitants of Hemlock Isle and sort of impress them. Dr. Armitage, I imagine, has noted just how much Alessandra seems to be able to convince people of things, perhaps even to a supernatural degree. I took an action to play Fine Clothes. I'm going to take a second action to ask the locals about the Vale. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? So, Codex 10. Codex 10, The Crossroads. Dozens of workers bustle around the base of a large tree in the center of the crossroads. The many faces of the tree leer down at you with myriad expressions, some laughing, others pinched in grief or terror. Each expression is grotesquely exaggerated. When you ask one of the nearby carpenters about the tree, they pause to consider their words. This tree is the effigy, a likeness of... Well, maybe it's best to think of it as a heavenly spirit. The same spirit that lives on in each of us. The foreman tells you they will have to work through the night in anticipation of the rain tomorrow. As you watch them work, one carpenter trips and falls. Theo runs over from his truck and picks her up as she clutches her eyes and laughs hysterically. You may either draw a card or gain a resource. I will. Search the set-aside residence encounter set for Theo Peters and put him into play at the crossroads. Asset side face up. Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. I don't need money right now. Bank job. Bank job is a money card, but I just think it's very funny. I guess Alessandra is going to be smashing and grabbing somewhere. We'll see. Okay, so I drew a card. I'm looking for Theo Peters, and I'm putting him into play. I'm trying not to look at these too closely. Theo! Oh, do we like Theo? Oh, what a little charmer! This is Theo Peters, the jack of all trades. He's a resident. It didn't say take control of him. It just says put him into play. While you control Theo Peters, you may take an additional action, which can only be used to move. It's pretty nice. He has a truck. Man, he is a big guy. Action. Choose and discard X cards from your hand, where X is the current day number, parley, and then there's a codex entry. I think we probably want to talk to Theo. Forced. After he's defeated, set him aside out of play. In your campaign log, decrease his relationship. Right, okay, so if he gets defeated, obviously he's not as happy with you. Slotless. Well, I can take an additional action during my turn, which can only be used to parley, so feels pretty good. I should probably do that. Alessandra is intrigued by this wild carved tree effigy, and also by the mass of carpenters that are working their butts off to get this thing ready for the festival. Of course, the first person to speak to is going to be Theo, the man who was so friendly with them earlier. I'm going to action... Yeah, stable boy. Yeah. A farm boy, whatever. What's the line? Doesn't matter. Choose and discard X cards from your hand. X is the current day number, parley. So it is day 1. I'm going to use my additional action to parley. I'm going to choose and discard a card from my hand. I kind of want to keep all of these. I don't think the bank job is very useful. Today, so I'm going to discard bank job. And then I'm going to parley look at 8. Theo Peters. Hold on, Theo says to the worker, pressing a cold cloth to her forehead. After another pained laugh, she passes out. Exactly, Crosshair. At the end of the prelude, we'll reset to 5 resources, so it's a good point. You ask Theo what happened. It's kind of like heat stroke, except it's more you sort of work yourself into a good mood, and then it's, well, I don't really know what it is. Sometimes people just get sick. Theo's being a little sus. I don't know if he knows or if he's just being sus. Several locals carry the worker away to a nearby shed. After some banter, you ask Theo about any good areas to survey local wildlife on Hemlock Isle. He smiles broadly. My sisters and I saw the biggest horseshoe crab on Aquan shoreline. I don't know if it's still there, but I swear it was the size of a buggy. I have some family business in Aquan if you want to tag along today. You may immediately move to any location. Increase Theo Peters' relationship level. Okay, well, we're going to move for sure. Let's increase his relationship level. I assume that it is on the back. Whoa, look at all these people. Hey, we got 1 relationship level with Theo Peters. You said a bearded guy, eh, Crosshair? This man's called William Hemlock. Ruh-roh. I shouldn't really be looking too closely, but I totally am. Whoa, okay, all right. Okay. Oh, prelude notes. I didn't see this before. Some general designer notes. Treat the beginning of the prelude as if you're starting a scenario for the first time. Blurs tokens and 1 per game abilities retain their state from prelude to scenario. Yeah, William seems to have the most beard. He's pretty bearded. I'm surprised this sailor guy isn't bearded. Okay. Right, you may immediately move to any location. Well, the crossroads is connected to every location, so I suppose it doesn't matter. Where would we want to go? This is an important question, I feel. I've only got so many turns to befriend people. Zorzi. Okay, so there's the boarding house. Huh? Left. There's the old mill. The Atwood House. Okay. Hemlock Chapel. The General Store. The Commons. Feels pretty nice. And the Schoolhouse. I feel like the boarding house would be pretty appropriate. Yeah, well, this is the question, Flower. I feel like she'd want to go where the people are. Probably like the General Store, the Commons. Like, I don't know, like, I like the idea of getting a clue here, but like, I don't need... Oh, you're right, Crosshair. The Schoolhouse is not connected. Well, that, my friends, is that. We're zipping over to the school. It's a bit silly. Let's find out. You may immediately move to any location. Sorry, I'll zoom in there. Hell yeah. So, yeah, let's do that. I know that's a bit gamey, but I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to go north towards the commons and the general store, and we'll go from there. The Vale Schoolhouse. Several roads lead past the schoolhouse towards Hemlock Isle's southern point. 3 shrouds, 0 clues. There's an action here to search your deck for a tome asset and draw it, shuffle your deck. I don't have any. I can say that with pretty good confidence. You peruse the school library. Codex 15. Is there anything else I want to play? Lockpicks get me clues. Beguile is for enemies. The bulldog is a gun. I don't need any of these things. The fox mask, however, masks are new in Hemlock Vale. Let's have a look at this card. I feel like it's going to be very important. The wise trickster. So you limit 1 mask per investigator. It uses 2 offerings. You replenish, i.e. restore, i.e. put one of these offerings back on it, after you move out of a location with an enemy. Spend 1 offering, you get +2 book, intellect, or +2 agility for this skill test. Limit once per test. It's a good point, Crosshair. I will point out British Bulldog. Let's have a look at everything in hand here. Lockpicks we've seen in previous campaigns, but as a reminder, it is an illicit tool. Takes up a hand slot. You exhaust it and spend an action to investigate. You add your agility to your intellect. If you do not succeed by at least 2, discard lockpicks. So lockpicks require you to be very good at what you do or they break, but intellect plus agility for Zorzi is 8. It's pretty good. Beguile we talked about, Foxmask we talked about. British Bulldog. This is a gun. Takes up a hand slot. It's an illicit gun, yeah. It uses 3 ammo. Spend 1 ammo. Fight, you may use agility instead of combat. Deals +1 damage. Quite nice for Zorzi. There's a reaction here as well. And this is my favorite thing about this card. After you fail a skill test while parleying with an enemy, put British Bulldog into play from your hand. So, I tried talking, didn't work, they got suspicious, out comes the gun. That's so good. It's so good. I don't know, I think for a level 0 weapon, the ability to play it for free, even if that's only under certain circumstances, is quite nice. Alessandra Zorzi, I'm gonna spend an action, I'm gonna spend a, look at these little offering tokens. I'm gonna spend an action and a resource to play Foxmask. Alessandra Zorzi, gets a ride from Theo to the school, which she's like, oh, I'd love to start sort of and like make my way back to the center of the island, like what's sort of the furthest thing out in the village. He's like, oh, well, you want to hit up the commons and the store, like that's where all the people are. Maybe you want to start at the schoolhouse and then work your way back. As she's hopping out of the truck, he reaches into the back and pulls out a beautifully carved, but relatively simple, wooden mask. It appears to be the likeness of a fox. He hands it to Alessandra, and he says, just, you know, everyone's going to be wearing these at the festival. Consider it a gift. Consider it our way of welcoming people here. Exactly, Crosshair. What we're dealing with here is a failure to communicate. Okay. Foxmask, done. Out of actions. No enemies. Upkeep. Well dressed. Now that, Crosshair, has got to be Jenny Barnes in the art, right? Look at that hat. I know she's wearing blue. Well, no, I think she does wear blue, right? Look at that. The people looking at her like, well-dressed is a skill with 1 wild icon. It says well-dressed is committed to a skill test. During a parley action, it gains 3 wild icons. A little bit of overkill, but Alessandra Zorzi does like talking to people. That's fantastic. Okay, upkept. We go to the mythos phase where we place a doom, and we do not draw any encounter cards, so we go straight on back to our turn, where I think now I want to try to find more people in the Vale. Yeah, exactly. Action. You peruse the school library. Ooh, good question, Flower. So, that is a good question, Flower. The Beguile says action parley, do something. Either move the enemy or investigate or evade. It does say basic investigate, basic evade, but you are parleying to do that, so it would count. This is where things really start to get... I mean, I am pretty jazzed. Fine clothes here. I don't like this art. That is terrifying. Fine clothes is a piece of clothing that reduces the difficulty of skill tests during parleys by 2. Oh, yeah, Crosshair. Like, do you mean... Crosshair, just to be clear, do you mean, like blood sisters, or do you mean, like actual sister? Like, do you think they're related, or... I'm down for either situation here. But for sure they are, sister... I mean, there's... Let's go with, yes, sisters in crime and sisters by blood? Sure. By marriage? Neither of them are married? Come on. Let's be real. Okay. Bloodsworn sisters. Action. You peruse the school library. I don't know if Alessandra would, but maybe there's someone waiting on the other side. Let's go to Codex number 15, the Vale Schoolhouse. The bell atop the schoolhouse rings 3 times as you approach, summoning children in animal masks. Dun, dun, dun. A young redhead girl, Well, it's time for me to take a break. A young red-haired girl in a rabbit mask trips and falls on her way in, and you help her up. The thin, severe teacher invites you inside and gestures at the 2 bookshelves against the back wall, the Vale's meager community library. A stately, middle-aged man with hickory-brown skin and a gray beard peruses the other shelf as you look at the library's offerings. A few battered issues of Tales from Nevermore, a survival handbook, a handwritten stack of old recipes. "Where's Edie?" one of the children asks the teacher. She replies in a sing-song voice, "Mother Rachel told me that Edie has found her place, and we shouldn't worry about her. Now what do we say? Mother Rachel knows best," the class says in unison. Uh-oh, we got our creepy kids, everybody. Creepy kids. You may either draw a card or gain a resource. I'm gonna go right ahead and draw a card. I'm not worried about weaknesses. So, String of Curses. String of Curses, I'm going to introduce these cards as we draw them. String of Curses is a spell that parleys a non-elite enemy at your location. You may either evade that enemy, place a doom on it, it can't take damage that round, discover a clue. That was a lot of different things, but basically you're cursing it to get away from you, but then you place a doom on it by speaking the curse. Or, if you String of Curse an enemy that has 1 or more doom on it, defeat it, gain a resource for each doom that was on it. Not going to be useful right now. Useful in the future. Search the set-aside residence for William Hemlock and put him into play at the Vale Schoolhouse, asset side face up. Yeah, it's got a combat... Oh, I can't zoom in. It's got a combat and an agility icon, which we'll take. Put him into play... Oh, yes. William... Let's have a look at our good friend. Yes, Crosshair. So that's the thing, though, is, of course, because it's an event, you would play it, you would evade an enemy, put a doom on it, discover a clue, and then you would have to play a second copy or somehow replay the first copy to then defeat the enemy, get a resource for the doom that you just put on it. That would be cool, but how do I play it twice? Perhaps Alessandra Zorzi has a way of doing so. William Hemlock, the aspiring poet. Oh, buddy. Oh, geez. He's a resident. Oh, boy. Okay. While you control William Hemlock, you get +1 intellect. There's the same forced effect. When he's defeated, set him aside. Out of play, decreases relationship level. Okay. Action, parley, test, intellect 2. If you succeed, read the codex. Alessandra Zorzi, the Countess, has read. I have a double idea. Crosshair, yes, that is actually fair. Double would be Double would be very specifically, would be very good here. Ah, flower. Eh. Action, parley, test intellect 2. Well, we're going to do that because I have... Oh, sorry. I took an action to peruse the library. Zorzi is definitely creeped out by the children here. Why are these children being taught this way? Who is Mother Rachel? Etc., etc. Free additional action to parley. Reduce the difficulty of skill tests you perform during parley actions by 2. So I'm going to test intellect 0. 4 to 0. I mean, that bodes pretty well, doesn't it? Okay, so I succeed by 6. It's fine. Alessandra Zorzi is sort of like surveying this little library. She sees the man who she can just get a sense right away. This guy is an intellectual. This guy is a poet. This guy, he thinks more broadly, perhaps, than other members of this community do. Perhaps he wishes he were on the mainland. She sidles up beside him and just throws a little comment over her shoulder about a recent poem published in the Arkham Advertiser, something she knows this guy probably read. His eyebrows pop off the top of his head, and he is so excited, and he turns to her, and she's like, I'm in, you know? Codex 4. We're going to get to actual Arkham soon, guys. Soon, he says. Outside the Vale schoolhouse... Oh, okay. You greet a man who introduces himself as William Hemlock. I'd heard we'd had visitors. I just didn't expect to meet them so soon. And yes, I am the last living heir to the Hemlock family, he blusters, although you did not ask. Or perhaps not the very last, if that gatecrasher River has their way, he snarls. You note the worn copy of Walden under his arm and ask about any local points of interest. I know it's rather unconventional, but my family's old house has a peculiar infestation. He seems to chew his own words. If you could exterminate whatever it is rather than study it, I think we'd all be in your debt. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a tome or talent and add it to your hand. Increase his relationship level. Okay, so his house, my family's old house, has a peculiar infestation. He wants us to exterminate it. Zorzi likes the idea, Alessandra, likes the idea of someone relatively powerful with a high status being in her debt, but I don't know how confident she feels about exterminating things? All right, let's increase his relationship level. And let's search the top 9 cards for a talent or tome. I think I have talents. I'm just checking. Ooh. Tactic. Innate. I know what these cards are, guys. Don't worry about it. Nope. Shuffle. Okay. Okay, so we've spoken to William Hemlock. We perused the school library. I don't really have anything else to do. Let's move up to the commons. The long barn-sized building is host to many dinners, dances, and community events in the Vale. This is good. This is nice. You inspect the communal hall and check out the local delivery service. Zorzi, I keep saying Zorzi because it's a fun word to say. Alessandra is just trying to get the lay of the land. They're going to be essentially living here for a few days until this feast happens. Until the feast happens. She wants to know kind of both where do people go, where do people hang out, what's an important place to be, but also if everybody's hanging out at the commons, could she be over in the other corner of the village finding things out, taking things for herself? Could she make off with any valuables during the feast? So let's do it. Action, you inspect the communal hall and check out the local delivery service. Delivery service? Are those arms? Ugh. Just to the right of the door on the right? Maybe. Definitely in the behind there's like a table with chairs and stuff. Spooky. All right, okay. Let's what did I say? 5? 16. 5. What the hell? All right. The commons. Welcome to the Vale. A young woman with a bob cut greets you as you enter through the barn double doors. It's been so long since we had visitors. One thing you gotta know about the Vale is that we do most everything in the commons. I know Sister Leia is planning a community dance tomorrow evening. Hey, Gideon, no smoking inside! The woman barks at an old man in a long blue sailor's coat in the corner. He stands up and hobbles outside, grumbling. You notice the corkboard on the back wall is pinned with children's drawings of plants and birds with extra eyes, teeth, and limbs. Ugh. The woman breaks your focus. If you ever want to call for anyone back on the mainland or, send a gift to a special someone in the village, I'm your girl. You can call me Martha Jean. Thanks, Martha Jean. So when you say if I want to call for anyone back on the mainland, do you mean like, can you get me a boat out of here? Alessandra is all smiles. Martha Jean, young, gullible. She's good. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for an ally and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Well, I know exactly what I'm looking for if I have it. Not in the top 9 cards. I'm looking at these. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm looking at here. So, sorry about that. But that's okay. My deck list is in the thing anyway. Shuffle your deck. Then search the set-aside residence for Gideon Mizra and put him into play at the commons asset side face up. Well, sounds good. Oh, it's the Sailor Man. So we can't talk to Martha Jean for some reason. Gideon Mizra is the seasoned sailor. While you control him, you have 1 additional accessory slot. Double action parley. Just takes longer to talk to the guy. After he's defeated, set him aside out of play. Okay, great. I'm out of actions, so that's the end of my turn, but we will be talking to Gideon next turn. Seems like it's going well. There's no enemies. We upkeep. Into an ally. Hilarious. Bianca de Katz. Singing your song. We're going to see Bianca probably in the next scenario. I imagine Bianca de Katz is a singer who is also an ally. You basically ask her for money, and then you test agility. Sorry, I guess you steal money from her. It's not super clear, but you... Oh, and it really is Crosshair, actually, yeah. And the old man from Gilligan's Island as well. That's very true. Oh, yeah, as portrayed by Kyle MacLachlan on How I Met Your Mother. Sorry, yes, I'll explain this more in detail later, but basically Bianca de Katz is an ally that you parley. I think you ask her for money, or you steal money from her, then you test agility. If you fail your agility test, you then owe her money, and she becomes an enemy. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet design. It's gonna be such a hard time figuring out what to keep here. We'll see. That was upkeep. Mythos, we go to 3 out of 6. Straight back to us, no encounter cards. I'm just kind of getting this going here. Double action, we're gonna parlay. Obviously, again, Alessandra is trying to learn as much as she can. Quantity of information is important when building the relationship network, when trying to figure out who's in charge, who's important, etc., right? Dice cats. So double action parley 6. Okay. Codex 6. You're no good, Martha Jean, mumbles the old man. He regards you warily until you mention coming from Arkham. Might have been some 30 years back I sailed past a queer light beneath the Miskatonic River. The old sailor's story quickly meanders into 5 other less interesting tales, but you listen till the end. When you ask about local points of interest, he replies, Look out. You won't take 5 steps out of the Vale before something bites ye. Okay. Draw 3 cards. So generous. Increase his relationship level. So this guy is the old talker. Alessandra's like, okay. He might prove useful being an old sailor. We've only spoken to dudes so far, by the way. Interesting. I think Alessandra is known as someone who likes the ladies, so we'll have to see if that can change. I'm drawing 3 cards! Wowie Maui. Look at all these cards. I'm gonna have to discard something during upkeep. Exactly, Flower. I'm thinking that might be of value. I'm gonna move up to the general store. This is where I wanted to go in the first place. The general store is abustle with locals and visitors buying up supplies for the coming feasts. These cloaks are weird, eh? Action parley. You haggle for goods and chat with the locals. Well, I have one action left. I don't really want to play anything, so... we still have 2 turns left, because we're going to go to 4, have a turn, go to 5, have a turn. Yeah, so I think 2 full turns left. We're just getting to know everybody, and then a scenario. Guys, the plan is to play scenario 1 before the end of Doomed today. We'll see. Action parley. You haggle. I'm doing it. You haggle for goods and chat with the locals. 14, is that what I said? Tad's General Store. The rustic general store also doubles as a pharmacy. A balding, middle-aged man with bandaged arms. Okay, stands behind the counter and introduces himself as Tad. We're so happy to have visitors in the Vale. I know Mother Rachel is just off her rocker with excitement to see fresh new faces, and it's good for business, too. I'll give you a newcomer discount today if you're buying anything. It goes without saying, but you're all invited to the community meal this evening. That's nice. You may spend a resource to search your deck for an item card and play it, ignoring its cost. Any investigator who has not resolved this effect may trigger this codex again. Okay. Search the set-aside residence for Judith Park. Put her into play at Tad's General Store. Asset side face up. Okay. Judith. We're going to figure things out here in a moment. I may spend a resource to get an item and put it into play. Do I care? Because the asset I'm going to want to keep in play is probably fine clothes, or probably Fox Mask, actually. So I don't think I'm going to bother. I know it seems silly, but, like, I've already got... I'm only going to be able to keep one thing at the end of the prelude, so... yeah, I think we're good. That's the end of my turn. Is the order you resolve them in arbitrary? I'm not sure quite what you mean, Flower, in the sense that we're resolving... Oh! I don't think it's... I would argue I don't think it's arbitrary. I think it's... We'll probably see more in later scenarios. For now, it's just, here's the entry, do the thing. Oh, yes, sorry, yes. No, it's not arbitrary. You do have to do them in that order. So you're right. You may spend one resource to search your deck for an item. So I have to do that before I put Judith Park into play, just in case Judith Park says, if you have this kind of item, succeed. Like, yes, you do have to do it in order. So you're right. I should have chosen this before putting Judith into play, but I haven't looked at her, so I don't know what she does. I'm not going to bother getting an item. Alessandra's got everything she needs. She's got her silver tongue, you know? Everyone's been very, very friendly so far. Alessandra's managed to make a few friends. We're going to go to upkeep. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. We're going to ditch manual dexterity and stir the pot. I'm going to have to ditch a bunch and shuffle them back in next scenario anyway. We go to 4 out of 6 Doom. We're back around to us. I presume Judith can be spoken to. Judith Park, the muscle. Hell yeah. While you control Judith Park, you may take an additional action which can only be used to fight. Okay, maybe not the most useful, but I'm sure Alessandra loves a good, you know, bit of muscle, so to speak. Action, spend X resources, where X is the current day number, parley. Well, it's day 1. We're going to spend $1 to talk to her. I don't know why it costs $1 to do that, but we're gonna do it anyway. And we're going to go to number 7. Judith Park, who is at the general store. I feel like we're really just getting a sense of how this community comes together. Alessandra's really trying to figure out, you know, who's in charge, who's important here. You approach a compact woman in a handsome hunting jacket who eyes you like a hawk. You introduce yourself and the survey, and she flicks ash from the tip of her cigar. Name's Judith. Judith Park. I'm the muscle around here, which mostly means shooting rowdy animals. They look all nice and friendly during the day, but they get weird at night. Some of them have started to look a little strange, too. Occasionally, one will wander into the village, and I have to introduce them to old Jomo. She brandishes a hunting rifle almost as long as she is tall. Impressed, you ask if she's available for hire. The young woman sizes you up. Your friend Marquez hired me to escort her to Eastwick Bog today. Be prepared if you come along. You may play a weapon card from your hand, ignoring its cost. Increase Judith Park's relationship level. Well, that's right away. Yes. It feels muscly. Well, I have a weapon. I'm going to play the British Bulldog for free. I'm going to increase her relationship level by 1. So that's important, right? She's eyeing us up, and I think Alessandra's doing a really good job at not, making it too obvious that she's here to, scoping stuff out. But she's already been hired by Dr. Marquez to escort her to Eastwick Bog. So if we want to go with Dr. Marquez, that's where we're going. Just a thought. Okay. So we want to continue along here. There's the boarding house, the old mill, the Atwood house, the chapel. I feel like the boarding house would be good. Ah, yes, sorry, Crosshair. So Judith Park, the muscle, has a big old hunting rifle. She takes care of the animals when they get rowdy, so to speak, or evil, or changed. And she is going with Dr. Marquez to Eastwick Bog, which is important if we want to go with her. So far, we've had invitations from Theo to go visit his family / the North Shore. We like extra actions. Judith Park is going with the Dr. Marquez to the bog to survey some stuff, and William Hemlock has asked us to take out the infestation in his old family home, which we might like that. Okay, so we're back around to us. We've parlayed. We're going to action move to the crossroads. She allowed us to play a gun for free. Ah, okay. Cthulhu, good evening. Sorry to say it's a bit too early, but watch it later. Fantastic. We're still in the prelude, Cthulhu. Thank you very much. I hope that first scenario goes really well. We'll talk to you soon. Free trigger. Move to a connecting location. I think it would be... we still have one more turn, because this is 4 out of 6. So I think we get to keep our clues if we go to the old mill. So I'm gonna free trigger move to the old mill. And now I'm going to try to get this clue. Ah, sorry. Yeah, exactly, Crosshair. The morning breeze carries the fresh scent of lupines, asters, yarrow, and meadowsweet into the Vale. After you discover a clue at the old mill, Codex 12. Okay, so we have to look around here. Zorzi is drawn out west beyond the village, out into the farmlands. I'm going to investigate. I have 4 intellect. I'm going to boost it by 2 with an offering from the fox mask. There's power in these wooden carvings. And we're going to go 6 to 2. Woo! Okie dokie! All right, Arkham. Okay, I pass. But that's thanks a lot. We get a clue. We get to keep our clues in the next scenario, which is nice. After you discover a clue, number 12. Good thing I spent that thing. The old mill. Dr. Marquez leans precariously on her cane as she takes samples of the various wildflowers around the mill. Take a look at this. The professor holds out a sample that looks like a blend of brilliant violet, trillium, and lupine flowers spliced at the stem. Similar to the strange blossom that prompted the survey. Monopodial with dozens of different expressions, but no evidence of grafting. It grew naturally. You ask how this is possible, because of course Alessandra doesn't know anything about botany. And the professor grins. It isn't. which is exactly why this survey is going to make my career. As you leave Dr. Marquez to her sample collecting, you spot a sturdy, well-built woman in overalls working the fields. You may either draw a card or gain a resource. Search the set-aside residence encounter set for Leah Atwood, put her into play. Oh, yeah, yes! Very good, Crosshair. Now that is some good PR. That's right, Drew Crew today at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is in about 2.5 hours time from now. I would like to keep playing and get beyond this. I'm going to choose to draw a card. Fine. I'm going to put Leah Atwood into play. Whoops, she's in here somewhere. And I still have, what have I done so far? I double actioned. No, what did I do? I moved. I free triggered. I investigated. Oh, I parlayed to start. Move, free move, investigate. Okay, great. Leah Atwood is the Vale cook. While you control her, you get +1 combat. Fine, not great for us, who cares? Parley test combat 2 if you succeed. Codex 2. Now this is good because normally you would have to prove that you're strong enough to help her with the sort of manual labor in the community. But Alessandra Zorzi doesn't need to prove nothing. She is effortlessly chic and effortlessly she's able to fit in anywhere she goes. There's a word for that, but I'm trying to think of what I mean here. She's like just effortlessly, you know, not April O'Neil. Action parley, test combat 2. Reminder, parley difficulties are reduced by 2, so I'm going to go ahead and test 2 to 0. You cannot have a score of less than 0, so I pass 0 to 0. And I go to Codex 2. April O'Neil. Leah Atwood. The red-cheeked older woman introduces herself as Leah Atwood, Mother Rachel's sister. Right away. Zorzi's like, damn it, Zorzi, Alessandra. The Countess is like, okay, this is the leader of this community's sister. She'll be the one that I'm going to use to get access to the woman who runs the place. I'm in charge of everything folks around here put in their bellies. And yes, that means I'm in charge of the feast. My sister's been very particular about everything she wants prepared in advance. Uh-oh. Oh. Is there something I'm thinking about? Flower? Flower. Is that the character from M. Night Shyamalan's The Village? You ask her about any points of interest to survey in Hemlock Isle, and she wipes her brow with a gloved hand and says basically, fuck off. Oh, Stardew. Oh, that's right. You barely need to leave the Vale before you see something odd. She puts one hand on her hip. I'm planning to go up to Pearl Ridge today. Something up there turned the trees to glass. Not sure if that's what you're looking for, but it is definitely unique. You may play a tool card from your hand, ignoring its cost. Increase Leah Atwood's relationship level. Do I have any tools? Am I a tool? I do! We're going to have to reset all of this crap anyway, but I may as well play some stuff out, right? Leah Atwood gets another point. That's the end of my turn, so we go to upkeep. I'm at 8. We go to 5 out of 6 Doom. I'm kind of pushing this through here. I'm going to move up to the Atwood house. The dour facade of the old house carries a hint of its former glory. The locals seem to avoid the property. Oh. Action, approach the old homestead. Move, action, approach the old homestead, and we go to 13. The old Empire-style manor is handsome at it. Oh. Yes, of course, Cthulhu. I can catch you up, or anyone in the chat can. Briefly, we have the Countess, Alessandra Zorzi, socialite by day, criminal by night. She has accompanied Dr. Rosa Marquez onto Hemlock Isle for a scientific survey. She doesn't know anything about science. Dr. Armitage no doubt sent her because she has these supernatural levels of being able to, like, charm people. She's met Theo Peters, she's met William Hemlock, she's met Gideon Mizra. She's met Judith Park. She's met Leah Atwood. She's met a whole bunch of people and kind of charmed them a little bit. Not so creepy. An old woman with smoky brown skin and an ashen complexion sits in a wheelchair at the entrance. Her hands shake as she lets out a weak cough. It's time, Sylvia. An elderly man emerges from the house and starts when he sees you. Oh, visitors already. You can call me Brother David, and this is Sister Sylvia. I'm Mother Rachel's husband. We're so happy you're here. As he pushes Sylvia inside, you hear rustling branches around the side of the house. Draw a card or gain a resource. Search the set-aside residence for Simeon Atwood. Simon. What the fuck is that image? Great question. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to choose to draw a card because who cares? I'm almost at the end of the thing. A dedicated troublemaker. This is a little shithead who blows things up, it looks like. Action, while you control Simon, you get +1 agility. We love it. Action, parley, test agility 2 if you succeed. We're going to read a codex. Absolutely. Zorzi hears a rustle in the bush and is like, haha. Okay, someone who kind of like makes trouble in the village. I bet I can like buy him a couple of sweets and he'll go spy on people for me. Like, I bet I can make this a game. Let's do it. We're going to action, parley, test agility 2, reduced by 2 by fine clothes, 4 to 0. Fine by me. Success. We're going to go read Simeon. I'm going to go read number 3. I'm excited to get to a scenario, guys, which is why I'm kind of rushing a little bit here. Fire in the hole! Shouts a voice, followed by a shower of sparks and firecrackers. Simeon. A white dog barrels through the smoke towards you, and you're assailed with friendly licks. A chubby, freckled young man with a shock of bright red hair follows. Ah, marbles. I thought you were Theo. Lay off, Digby, he tells the dog, and drops to one knee to gather the debris. Sorry about that. I'm Simeon. My ma's always busy cooking for Auntie Rachel. He scratches a red, raised swirl of hardened skin on his neck. Auntie Rachel said we get 5 lashes if we litter in the Vale. So, his mother is obviously Leia, the cook that we just met. And he is the nephew of the woman who runs the village. This is a good person to know as well. You're not allowed to go to the mines up in Pearl Ridge. I claim them for my secret society. Simone. Simone. Let's do that. Let's go with Simone. Thank you. Yeah, get out of here. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a tactic or trick and add it to your hand. I will be able to do that. And then increase his relationship level. I think that's going to be it. A tactic or a trick. Oh shit, actually. Oh, there's a trick. Doesn't really matter because I'm going to be throwing all this stuff back. Thank you, Flower. Increase his relationship level. Look at all these people we've met. Aw, everyone likes us a little bit. Last action. Who cares? I don't have anything I can really do. I'm not going to bother playing anything out. I'm going to move up to the Hemlock Chapel, but I have no actions left. I have nothing to do. You can only resolve a codex once, so if I moved to Theo, even if I had the action to parley, I wouldn't be able to resolve his codex entry again. So, that's us. We go to upkeep, and I have to discard a bunch of crap, which I will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards. Let's just dump a bunch of crap there. Because I think we're going to essentially reset at the end of the scenario. 6 doom. Time to get to work. Birdie approaches, absolutely winded. Dr. Marquez requests your immediate presence, he huffs, butting into your conversation. Believe me, she will not like it if you're late at all. Each investigator resigned. Oh, please, Cthulhu, that'd be nice. Resigns R1, page 9. Let's have a look at what the hell is happening next. You meet Dr. Marquez and Bertie back at the crossroads. After you each share some possible leads for the survey, the professor lays out the map of Hemlock Isle. I didn't expect the village to be so religious, says Dr. Marquez. Bertie lights up in response. They almost seem to be living in some transcendentalist ideal. I have no idea what they actually believe, mind you, but they seem friendly enough. Friendly's a word for it. Dr. Marquez smiles grimly. We have a good 3 days before the island is overrun with tourists. I hate tourists. It sounds rather ill-natured given the celebration, Bertie ventures. Dr. Marquez gives him a withering look. What I mean is that they'll disrupt the local habitats. What I mean is they'll disrupt the local habitats, so our time is limited. We can split up to cover more ground, or we can stick together. Theo has volunteered to drive us anywhere we need to go, and even said we could take his truck at night, though we aren't to tell Mother Rachel. Given the stories of deadly wildlife, I've hired Judith to accompany me to Eastwick Bog. Either of you are welcome to join. Just be back by sundown. I plan to take a walk to the western woods, Bertie says. Alone, if you don't mind. If Miss Olmsted's descriptions are to be believed, they are quite stunning. You consider your options. Choose one asset in your play area to keep for the next scenario. It must be one that does not normally start in play. Discard each other asset and attachment except for those that will start in play. Then, I'm just reading all of these, discard down to your opening hand size, shuffle your discard pile into your deck. Your current hand is your opening hand. You will not draw a new one or take a mulligan. Discard down to your starting resources. Okay. So I'm going to keep Fox Mask. Yeah, because I have a fine clothes in hand. Is that smart? Yeah. Lockpicks is... It's fine. I think it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to discard down. Pickpocketing, fine clothes, Bianca, beguile. These are all staying. And I think I will keep fake credentials as a possible investigation tool. It's just all assets. String of curses is pretty good. That's what I'm going to do. Shuffle back in. Fox Mask with 1 charge, huh? Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, use that. Use that stuff. Okay. Excellent work, Zorzi. We've discarded down to 5. We have shuffled things back in. We kept the Fox Mask because it's got some sort of strange power. Exploring the Isle is allegedly dangerous. Add a tentacle token to the Chaos Bag for the remainder of the campaign. Oh. Wasn't that funny? Flower, you've been calling for this auto-fail. It doesn't exist. Now it's in the bag. I didn't realize we had none in the bag to start. That is hilarious. Well, well, well. Isn't that funny? Oh, well then. When setting up the next scenario, skip steps 1 to 8 of setting up the game. So we don't do a lot of the things that we would normally do, but I think it's okay. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm leaving this as a poll while I take a quick break. The investigators must choose where to survey today. You will have the opportunity to survey multiple areas over the course of the campaign. To the north, the abandoned North Point mine lies empty and overrun with strange wildlife. Doesn't seem like something... Theo said that his sister lives up that way on the beach, right? To the south, the old Hemlock House is said to host a strange infestation. So, clearing out this infestation would put William Hemlock, the poet and important man, in our debt. Oh! Well, that's pretty good, Cthulhu. Hot damn. Considering there's only a couple symbols in the first place. Pretty good. The devastated Pearl Ridge up to the northwest is covered in a persistent layer of white ash. That doesn't feel very important. Northeast is Aquan, a dwindling settlement of Abenaki and mariners on the desolate coastline. Oh, that's where Theo Peters is from. Dr. Marquez believes Eastwick Bog to the southeast may be the origin of the sample that drew you here. To discover the thing in the depths, turn to page whatever. Just checking, that's it. Okay, so I'm making a poll, everybody, because I need to take a quick break, and this will be a good time for it to go, and we'll let everybody take a quick break. So, we're voting on where is the Countess headed. Option 1. Abandoned North Point Mine. Oh, and then I'm just going to write overrun with what? I'm going to, like, give it a little bit of details. And it's Simone's hideout, or Simon's hideout. You'll be able to vote for these, right? Exclamation mark 0, etc. Hemlock House. William Hemlock's family home. Infested. Pearl Ridge doesn't feel that exciting, but we'll see. Covered in ash? Yes, Cthulhu, that is correct. Aquan. Small coastal settlement. Theo's family lives there. And Eastwick Bog. Dr. Marquez is investigating flora. All right, I'm starting the poll so I can take a quick break. Hey, it's Aragwen! Hi, Aragwen! Welcome to Doomed. Solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. Aragwen, I'm giving you the option to weigh in on this poll if you so like. I'll give you the very briefest of overviews. We are playing as Alessandra Zorzi, the Countess. What a badass. Socialite by day, criminal by night. Silver-tongued, charming, ready to chat with anybody and everybody. Chat them up, etc. I think her thing said, she's sampled every dish, drink, and dame from Marrakesh to Chicago, which I love. We are on Hemlock Isle, a small, mysterious coast or a settlement off the coast of Maine. There's going to be a feast in 3 days. We're here with a scientist who's investigating strange mutated flora, but of course, Alessandra might not be particularly interested in that. Zorzi is... Yeah, so that's what I want to say. She's getting to know townsfolk and so on, and the votes that I've put out in the chat, you'll notice here, are the various options for scenarios we have moving forward. Don't you dare overwrite the wrong save, Scott. Okay, good. Here we go. Guys, I am taking a quick break, because I need to use the washroom and get some water and so on and so forth. Stick around as we at least start the next scenario on day 1 here on Doomed. We're going to be right back. Give me 5 minutes, and I'll see you all soon. Biff the Boss is in the chat, and he has infinite votes. Welcome back to Doomed. Solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game, with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. Yeah. I am going to stop the vote here, guys. And for whatever reason, Crosshair doesn't seem to want to update this, actually. So I'm seeing that there's one that's been removed and added to 0. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't actually... Yeah, I think it's the way that the the poll in chatbot works. So that's... I'm not saying I'm not doing it, but I am saying the best one for yeah, it went and counted anyway. I have infinite votes. Okay, the question we have to ask ourselves is Alessandra Zorzi going with the strong woman who's going to protect her from things and getting to know Dr. Rosa Marquez better? Or is she going to sort of like deal with someone else's kind of problem in and of itself, right? The best story implications. I'm probably just gonna yeah, neither are very fancy. But like, I mean, to a certain extent, neither is an ash-covered place, neither is a fishing village, neither is a house. I will say, the reason I run these polls is mostly because, like, I want to know if people are, you know, like, like, what people are interested in seeing, right? That's part of the reason. Fish can be fancy. Well, exactly, Cthulhu. And I think the answer, I have the answer for that question, which is she wants to drift and socialize. So I am going to choose the one that received a couple of votes, and I think makes sense. Option 0. Let's actually go back to here and have a look here. It's honestly weirdness. Okay, weirdness. Now that is a good way of putting it. But let's have a look. To the north, the abandoned North Point mine lies empty and overrun with strange wildlife. So maybe that's not particularly story-oriented. But Simon Atwood. Oh, well, there you go. Simon Atwood said his club has, like, taken control of it up there. Simon is the nephew of Mother Rachel, the leader of the community, and he's a troublemaker. Alessandra's thinking, okay, if I can get in good with this guy, get him some sweets or something, he'll be able to spy for me. That's what I'm thinking. Because I'm not really feeling anything else here other than, yeah. So I was feeling the mine, Hemlock House feels pretty good, and then Dr. Marquez, but I don't want to do that. So I'm doing, let's do it. Let's do Written in Rock, because we're going to have the opportunity to see the others as well. So I'm just placing some stuff here. Be absolutely certain to clean up everything placed by the prelude. Great. Okay, no problemo, Crosshair. Yeah, that dog is so undisciplined. We'll reset the doom. Is everything cleaned up? Looks like it. Wait, where did that... Hang on. Aragon, what are you responding to? What's going on? Oh, it's a shield. Written in rock. Okay, let's go to... The path to North Point Mine runs through a narrow ravine in the heart of Pearl Ridge. With little to go on, you asked around the Vale for more information about the mine, but all you could gather were several conflicting accounts. People have gone missing in the mines recently, although the mining operation is purportedly shut down. The lichens and moss are supposedly nutritious, but some are lethal? Nobody explained why the mine shut down in the first place either. The path ends at the mouth of a yawning cave. Following an old rail track in, you find heaps of abandoned equipment overgrown with bright yellow fungi. The fungus looks far from edible and emits a putrescent stench. I think Alessandra is probably already regretting this. Eventually, the tunnel opens into a massive cavern filled with lumescent mushrooms and towering crystal formations. The ground shifts with a slight tremor, followed by an echoing cry from deeper in the mine. If we can save some people, we're going to be a goddamn hero around here. Steeling yourself, you trek deeper into the cave. At the very least, Dr. Marquez will want samples of the strange overgrowth on the rusted equipment. Yeah, I bet, Flower. And yet, she's going to be putting them back on. Gather all the cards from the following encounter sets. In addition, check the campaign log for the current day and its corresponding encounter set. Check the campaign log for the current date or time. Put the time marker card into play on its corresponding day or night side. Do I still have music? There we go. I will point out, this is something that I think the game is going to do, which is quite nice. This day one tracker is here, which I think tells the mod what to put into play, because I haven't seen anything that says, like, oh, go find the day one set, or what. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase this. I mean, I haven't seen anything that says, like, oh, here's the day one set, here's the day two set, like, put them in or whatever, because it's all set up as if it were day one, which is quite nice. Gather each location from... Put the control station location into play as shown. Set the remaining 15 rail locations aside out of play. Oh no. Oh no, it's a minecart level. Oh, minecart madness. Okay. Okay. Place a resource on each... Gather each location, put the control station into place, set the 15 rails aside out of play. Control station. Did we begin play there? Is that what it said? Oh, no. Okay. Place one resource on each location as a scrap. Gather 6 cave... Oh, I haven't done this part. I see. I skipped a step. Gather the 6 cave locations, randomly remove 2 of them, place the rest as shown on the next page. Okay. Where are the caverns? Hello? Ah, remove 2 of them from the game. Then I think we're doing this. Bunch of caves. Okay. Place one resource on each location as a scrap. Hint, the scraps collected during Act 1 will help during Act 2. Great. We begin at the leftmost location. Okay. Ah, and see, it's day 1, so River Hawthorne is here in this cavern, apparently, which is pretty cool. We'll look at them in a little bit. River Hawthorne gets placed at the location in column 3, which is fine. If it is day, remove the subterranean beast enemy from the game. Hooray! Put the scenario reference card into play on its Act 1 side. Set some stuff out of play. Shuffle encounter deck. Blah, blah, blah. You are ready to begin. Let's have a look here. Written in rock. Cultists. Skulls. Minus X. X is your location's column number, so we're counting from left to right, 1 through 5. Cultists. Minus 1. Place a resource on this card as a scrap. Minus 2 for the tablets if you fail, remove a scrap. Elder Things, minus 3 if you fail, take a damage. Well, there is an Elder Thing in the bag, so we gotta be real careful about that. And the skulls are at least minus 1s. Okay. Zorzi, I keep saying Zorzi. Alessandra has moved into the cavern thinking, you know, well, maybe she'll be able to catch up with this Simon guy. Maybe she'll be able to sort of convince him that there's something here. And now, having arrived, it's like, oh, okay, hearing a cry from further inside, it's like, okay, great, well, at least maybe I can rescue someone from something. No, you're right, Flower. No cultists as of yet. Mysterious. What else do I want to say? Yeah. I think that's it. Agenda 1A, Underground Survey. The old mine is full of dilapidated machinery and an old rail track. What secrets are written in rock below? When this agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda, 5 doom. Action. Ugh. Draw the top card of the encounter deck. Move a resource from your location to the scenario reference card as a scrap. If the encounter card just drawn was a power treachery, gain 5 resources. That's nice. We want scraps, so we have to be ready to deal with this. Act 1A. You realize the eerie hum in the air comes from the vibrating crystal formations. Something feels strange, though you cannot say what. Objective. At the end of the round, if each surviving investigator is at the control station, advance. Hint, get to the control station before the agenda advances. Okay. So, let's turn that down slightly, eh? So we know Zorzi, Alessandra can feel this strange vibrations coming from the crystal, can hear sort of cries for help a little further. Yep, hummy mind, time to investigate. Perfect, Crosshair. That is exactly correct. We have 5 doom worth of time to get to the control station. There's an action to draw the top card of the encounter deck to move a scrap onto the scenario reference card, which I think we're going to be doing here. We've already done our opening hands and stuff, and we have our fox mask out, which is good, but let's have a look at the cavern. After more aeons of descent, I saw some side passages or burrows leading from unknown recesses of blackness to this shaft of nighted mystery. Mineral tunnel. What the f... Mineral tunnel, 0 shroud, 1 clue. Yeah, exactly, Flower. We've learned a little bit about how the island works, and we've learned that we've learned at least that, like, from Dr. Marquez, the strange things happening on this island cannot be human created. They're not spliced flowers, right? They're natural somehow. Oh, shaft of nighted mystery. The formations resemble a shark's many-rowed teeth and are just as sharp. Oh, God. Okay. 0 shroud, 1 clue. While you are investigating Mineral Tunnel, it gets +1 shroud for each card in your hand, up to 6 on easy or standard. Okay, so the more cards I can play, the lower the shroud. That's fine. It's actually pretty straightforward because I wanted to play a couple cards out anyway. Bianca gives me money. Pickpocketing gets me cards if I can evade enemies. I think we're taking like a big old setup turn, even though... So the plan is to make sure that we have what we need and then basically run for the control center if we start to run out of time. But my hope is like, get a scrap, move to the next location, get another scrap. Get clues, because we might need them as we investigate. So, let's do it. Find clothes. Bianca de Cats. Pickpocketing. And I may take an additional action during my turn, which can only be used to parley. Bianca de Cats. She's now in play. We did not, Flower. We will. I know it's wild, eh, Aragwen? It doesn't really make sense to me, but I'm thrilled. I'm just jazzed as hell that she's here. She's ready to get her hands dirty so that she can be like, look, I solved your problems for you. Maybe you can help me. We're going to look at Bianca de Cats first. No, we're going to look at the story asset that was put into play. The person who is presumably, presumably, what's the word I'm looking for? Either kidnapped or lost or something. But Alessandra has made her way into the cave and is immediately being confronted by these crystalline caverns, these strange humming, singing crystals. Perhaps they're the source of the energy or power on this island that's doing strange things. Let's look at River Hawthorne. River Hawthorne, big in New York. While you control River Hawthorne, you get +1 willpower. Fine. Action parley, test either will or intellect 3. If you succeed, read a codex. After River Hawthorne is defeated, set them aside out of play. Now, we haven't met this person. So I have to, but big in New York tells me that River and Alessandra are going to either butt heads or get along like a house on fire. So I'm pretty excited about that. A reduced difficulty parley test for intellect shouldn't be too difficult, so I think we'll be okay with that. So that was 3 actions to play 3 cards. It's a lot. Bianca de Cats. Alessandra is not alone here on the island. Alessandra has brought with her her friend. In this version of history, there is no... oh my god, guys. That's right, Flower. William Hemlock said, River's gonna, like, try to... I'm the last surviving Hemlock, unless that River is gonna take over, or some shit. So there's definitely some bad blood there. We'll see what that means. I do like that they're socialite, essentially. Hi, Ripley. Is this the right time? Is this the right time to come and bother me? Alessandra has brought with her her current squeeze, a singer by the name of Bianca, but of course she goes by De Cats in the nightclub scene. Alessandra picked her up the last time she was in Chicago, and Bianca has followed her around ever since, completely beguiled by her charming personality, her easy and quick wit. Bianca de Cats is very wealthy, and Alessandra Zorzi has been using that from time to time. So, limit 1 per deck. She has resources on her action. Exhaust Bianca. Parley. Move a certain number of resources from her to you. X cannot be more than 5. Test Agility X, and then if you fail, I owe her some money, and then she becomes an enemy. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to exhaust her, and I'm going to take 2 resources. 3 resources. Is this a bad idea? We'll be fine, I think. Hey, German chocolate. I didn't know that. That's fun. So I took 3 resources, which means I'm testing Agility 3. However, it is a parley action, so it's reduced by 2. So I'm testing 4 to 1, and I'm feeling somewhat confident. Good enough. Nothing happens. Alessandra Zorzi basically is just kind of like, you know, I realize that this isn't exactly what you signed up for, but like, what an adventure, don't you think? Like, we're going to have so many stories. You're going to have a great story for your act when we get back to Chicago. And they move a little further into the tunnel. I'm just taking money because I feel like I'm going to need it. No enemies on the board, so I'm going to go ahead and upkeep. Bank job. Don't think there's anything to rob in here, but we'll see, I suppose. We go to 1 out of 5 Doom. We're here in the mineral tunnels, desperately hoping to find anything out that we can as we draw our very first encounter card. Shouts of panic rise to the east through the caverns. Oh, I should have actually read this location, hey? Control station says, as an additional cost to enter, you have to spend 2 clues. Tentacle dance. Swarm. Most of the creatures seemed not quite usual in their aspects and motions. As Alessandra and the newly strengthened, the newly, like, courageous Bianca start to make their way a little further into the tunnel, a strange buzzing sound. A vibration becomes a buzzing, becomes a horrible swarm as a cloud of bees just zips through the tunnel and out, probably towards the open air behind them. Alessandra yells for Bianca to get down. Test Agility 3. For each point you fail by, you must either lose a resource or take a damage. That's fine. I want to commit something to this test, so I'm going to commit so that there's less cards in my hand, so I'll commit this for +1 agility. I'm going to go 5 to 3. Failed by 1, so I'll lose a resource. It's okay. As the swarm of bees do not stop, or they do not even pause as they buzz over top of Alessandra and Bianca's head, and they zip out towards the open air. Breathing deeply and shakily, Alessandra looks at Bianca, who kind of tries to smile a little bit, but there's worry behind her eyes, you know. What the hell was that? What were they doing so deep underground in the first place? Alessandra shrugs. I'm no biologist, dear. We're back around to us. I would love to get the clue on my location, so I'm going to investigate. It has a shroud of 2, because I have 2 cards in my hand. Ooh, hang on. It gets, while you are investigating, it has +1 shroud, so I'm going to commit an intellect icon to this test to make it, why not? To make it 5 to 1. Zorzi tries to sort of map out a path with the least spiky bits. 5 to 1. Woo! All right, good. We love it. 1 clue, which is now exactly enough to get into the station at the end. She sees, as they start to venture further into the cavern and try to find their way around a corner, she sees up high a scrap of something glimmering in the light, reflected off of their lamps by these strange minerals. She reaches up towards it. I want to get these scraps because it said something about the scraps being useful later. Second action, draw the top card of the encounter deck. Move the one resource from your location to the scenario reference card as a scrap. If it is a power treachery, gain 5 resources. That'd be pretty nice. I have to draw the top card of the encounter deck to start. So Alessandra reaches up to try to grab this scrap of strange cloth. Ugh. And as she does, very suddenly, an appendage slithers out from between 2 pieces of mineral and grasps around her wrist. This is a hazard treachery. Test agility 3. For each point you fail by, take a damage. It is what it is. Decaying hands rise up from below and grasp and claw at your ankles. So an appendage, almost a hand, kind of reaches out from between 2 of the minerals, wraps around her wrist, and she looks up trying to identify the source of it. And she's going to try to slip her wrist out from within the grasp of this horrible hand. Hello, welcome to Doomed. Solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. So I'm at 4-3. A pass. Without too much difficulty, she's able to slip her wrist out from this grasp. And as she blinks, she realizes she had just kind of snagged her... She just kind of snagged her hand on something. There's no hand there. She blinks again and kind of looks around. I'm putting a scrap on the scenario reference card. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it does. I am going to get some resources from Bianca de Cats. Grasping Hands goes away. I don't take any damage. Let's test... There is a -4 in the bag. Let's take 3 resources again as she tries to persuade Bianca to move forward a little further. It's a difficulty 3 test, reduced by 2 by fine clothes. So we go to 4-1. Skull, minus X, the location's column number, which is 1. So it's success. Bianca does not turn on us. She, again, shakily breathes as they crawl forward, this strange scrap of glimmering cloth now safely tucked in Alessandra's pocket. I'm going to spend my last action to move on deeper into the caverns. Shaft of Nighted Mystery. This is a dry burrow. The open paths seem safe enough. But are they? Ooh. 2 shroud, 1 clue. It says day and night. Day. Free trigger. Move to a connecting location. Well, hell. I wouldn't mind more clues. But yeah, so we can do this next turn, and that's a free move. I'll definitely take that. There's a clue here as well, which I'm not mad about in the slightest. That's the end of my turn. Alessandra and Bianca emerge into an open cavern, or at least more open than the mineral tunnels that they had to crouch and slide through to get into this place. There are burrows everywhere, as if made by, I don't know, moles or something like that, but they seem a bit large. Look around, fascinated by the strange state of the world. No enemies, so we go to upkeep. I draw my other copy of Fine Clothes, that's fine. 2 out of 5 Doom. We draw an encounter card here in the burrows. Calcification. Put it into play in your threat area. Force, the first time you move each round, take a direct damage. Yikes, we don't like that. The mineral tunnel that Alessandra and Bianca climbed through. Before, Alessandra catches a glint of light off of Bianca, looks down. On her arm is a piece of the crystal, but when she goes to pick it or flick it off, it is not on her skin. It is somehow in her skin. So yeah, the first time you move each round, take a direct damage. However, test agility 3. If you succeed, discard it. You may take a direct damage to automatically succeed. Which means you would do that before you pull the token. But, yeah. You may take 1 direct damage for this test to succeed. Yeah, you can't pull a token and then be like, actually, I'd rather. That doesn't make sense to me. Calcification. The crystals begin to grow on their arm or something. Yeah, it is very cool, Flower. I'm with you there. It's back around to us. I'd love a clue. I'd love a scrap, and then I'd love to move. So I'm going to have to do a bunch of stuff for that to happen. 2 shroud. I don't know if we need the clues is all. But I think it's probably worth trying to get. What's more important? Let's get the scrap first. What is this? Do the scraps do anything? Not necessarily. Let's get the scrap first. Oh no, hang on. No. Whoa. Let's get rid of this calcification business first, right? I'm gonna test agility 3, but I'm gonna take the damage to automatically succeed. It's a direct damage, I have to take it. Zorzi whips out a small pocket knife. Oh! Yeah, that's a good idea, Crosshair, thank you. It is a good idea. I keep exclamation mark warning, but I only turn it on for certain kinds of streams. But you're right, I should have one that I activate for Doomed. It's a good idea. Zorzi. Alessandra just reaches her knife over to Bianca. She pulls a small pocket knife out of the pocket of her coat. Bianca recoils slightly, and she's like, it's okay. She's like, I don't trust this stuff, and digs it into her own arm and pop. Okay, bye, Flower. Wonderful to have you. Hope to see you on Drew Crew. She pops the strange calcification out of her own arm and says, there, nothing to it. Despite the pain racing up and down her forearm, she reaches over and does the same to Bianca, who cries out and stifles the cry. Discarded. Because now I can move for free, right? Second action, let's get the scrap here. I'm going to action draw the top card of the encounter deck. It's Fog, attached to your location. Damn, location gets +2 shroud. That sucks. That's okay. I'm just not going to get the clue here. I don't give a shit. As Alessandra and Bianca move forward, another scrap of strange glimmering fabric calls to her from within one of these small little burrows, and as she reaches down, fog begins to pour out, filling the cavern at a rate that is quite suspicious. But not a power treachery or whatever, so I move the scrap up. I don't know what this scrap is, but that'll be fine. Or is it scrap metal? I don't know. We don't use the parley on Bianca. No. We free trigger, move to the next cavern, where another cry from further inside the caves calls Alessandra and Bianca forward. Iridescent passage. The mirror-like walls reflect your fractured face. Somehow, as Alessandra ventures into another cave, it is as if the sun itself is contained within this passage. How is it possible that there is so much light in this room, and yet almost none in the cave before? How is this light being produced? She shields her eyes and squints, looks down at the ground as the path kind of moves forward. There is another shout, and just in front of them, Alessandra can make out a figure. Someone she doesn't recognize. So I've moved, that was a free trigger. I'm going to parley. Test either willpower or intellect 3. If you succeed, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to test intellect 3. It's reduced by 2 because of my fine clothes. So I'm testing 4 to 1. Alessandra calls out. Ah, no worries, Crosshair. Thank you. That's a great idea. Alessandra calls out, asking if the figure ahead is okay, if they're hurt, and says, if you can, crawl down on all fours and let's crawl towards each other. So I'm going to test 4 to 3 with my parley action. 4 to 1, sorry, intellect. +2. If you succeed, choose a non-elite enemy at a location or revealed connecting location. There are none, but that's okay. It's a pass. Codex 5. Let's find out about this River Hawthorne character, shall we? Fancy seeing you here. River stands as you approach. They hold a woven basket filled to the brim with phosphorescent mushrooms and blood-red lichens. I have quite the discerning palate, let me tell you. Eugenie Brazier herself said that I was the most demanding patron to grace her table. These are exquisite. They inhale from their basket luxuriously, then gesture at the grim tunnel. The things we do for love. You offer to help them forage. After all, Dr. Marquez will want samples of the unusual growths. Oh, okay. So I think Alessandra's probably put off by... River Hawthorne is the kind of socialite who has to work too hard to make it known that they're, like, really fancy, always name-dropping and stuff, but their objectives align with ours. They want to collect and forage some stuff from this cave, which we're going to bring back to Dr. Marquez, and they're doing it for love. Maybe if Alessandra can help this River character, they'll be able to tell them a bit about the Hemlocks, William Hemlock and the family. Take control of River Hawthorne. Okay. If investigators end the scenario with both River and 2 clues under their control, remember that you helped River. Okay, so we need clues. I'm taking control of River. River is a resident who does not take up an ally slot. You get +1 willpower. Ooh! 4 will. Let's go. 2 health, 2 sanity. I'm not mad at that. Okay. So I need, at the end of the scenario, I need to have River and at least 2 clues. I also know that I'm going to need clues to get into the control station, so we'll see. Let's use a last action. I don't really want to just test 4 to 3. That doesn't feel very good. I'll use the fox mask, I think. Yeah, let's... Scrap feels... I don't want to draw an encounter card with my last action. That doesn't feel very good. I'm going to use the fox mask to investigate here. I'm boosting my intellect to 6, so 6 to 3. The masks all recharge in a variety of ways, or replenish, so these offerings will come back, but I'm going to test 6 to 3. Alessandra is going to help River Hawthorne forage, and is going to try to put in for, like, oh, love, huh? Like, you can either add mature audience only, or add a mature tag. Okay, mature tag is probably no bad thing. Let's investigate 6 to 3. Success. Seems good. We get a clue from this location. I want at least a couple more clues, and maybe the next cavern's going to be a little easier to get a clue off of. Who knows? That's the end of my turn. No enemies. River is... Oh, no. It's perfect, Crosshair. Thank you. I've got about 45 minutes left on the stream, and I'd love to at least get to Act 2 of this scenario, and we'll see what the hell happens after that. Bianca is kind of looking at Alessandra like, why are you, she's basically trying to whisper, like, why are you so desperate to help this sort of, like, yokel, basically. Alessandra claps back immediately, like, River says that they're important in New York City, Bianca. Like, it would do you good to rub shoulders with people of different backgrounds. Bianca kind of harumphs a little bit. Bianca's jealous. Alessandra can tell. That takes us to the end of that, so no enemies. Again, still no enemies. We upkeep into an enemy. Let's have a look here. Zamacona is a weakness. A humanoid criminal who is elusive. Elusive being that key word. When they are, he is attacked or attacks, he will then disengage and move to away from the nearest investigator. Spawn. Nearest empty location if able. Okay. Alessandra Zorzi cannot parley with Zamacona. Well, that's not good. He cannot be parlayed with. Who does he remind me of? Looks like a certain actor or something. The first time Alessandra Zorzi parlays each round, place a doom on Zamacona. Well, that's not good. A 3/3/3 elusive. Well, I'm going to put him in the next cavern. Let's remember as well, it says in her little bio that Alessandra is in Arkham at the behest of the mysterious Zamacona, who appears to be some sort of besuited mafioso figure. But he seems immune to her charms. She's a tool for him. Who is this mysterious figure? What does he want? And perhaps more importantly, why did she just catch sight of him disappearing around the corner up ahead? He can't be here on Hemlock Isle. Can he? Mythos phase, we go to 3 out of 5 doom. Yikes, we gotta get these scraps and keep moving. And we draw our encounter card. Crypt Chill! River bends down to pick up a strange iridescent flower. Or rather, what looks like a flower. And all of a sudden, all 3 of the people notice that their breath, their exhalations become visible in the air. A wave of cold blasts through the cavern. Tests will 4. If you fail, choose and discard an asset you control. If you cannot, take 2 damage instead. Okay, well... Shit. I guess I can play New Fine Clothes. I could also get rid of Bianca, but that seems bad. I'm going to test Will 4/4. You never know. Pow. Nope. Terrible. Elder Thing is -3. If you fail, take a damage. So I failed. I have to get rid of an asset. I have to take a damage. I'm going to put the damage on Bianca. Yeah, so good question, Crosshair. Yes, it is. It's out of offerings. However, and this is, I think, what's cool about the masks. Each class gets one in Hemlock Vale, which is cool. It says, replenish one of these offerings after you blank. Move out of a location with an enemy. Now, that hasn't happened yet, annoyingly. Yeah, the Guardian gets one. It boosts combat and agility, and it says, like, when you engage an enemy, replenish an offering. It's important to note, I think, because I've seen this done a few times, replenish means... It means, like, add back an offering. It doesn't mean add an offering. So you can only ever have 2 offerings total. Maximum, I guess is what I mean. You are replenishing a bit of its power. You are not adding to its power, if that makes sense. So even if I had 2... Yeah, exactly, Crosshair. Yeah. You know. Okay, well, I took a damage, I put it on Bianca, and then I'm going to discard an asset I control, which I guess is Fine Clothes, because actually parleying right now sucks, and I shouldn't be doing it because of Zamacona. The ice crystals begin to form immediately. Exactly. Ice crystals begin to form, and Zorzi kind of... I keep calling her Zorzi. Alessandra, like, panics a little bit and throws her coat off as it disintegrates into nothingness. And just as quickly as it arrived, it passes. But Bianca is looking a little blue. We go back to the investigation phase. Zamacona. Okay. Sounds good. Crosshair. Don't die. Zamacona is just ahead of us. I could have put him back in the fog, I guess, but I don't want him to just sit here. I want to deal with him if I can. I'd love this clue. I'd love the scrap. And I need to go deal with Zamacona. So, I don't want to parley. I don't want to investigate. I'm going to get a clue from somewhere else, I'm sure. Action. We're going to deal with the scrap. Draw the top card of the encounter deck. Move a resource from your location. Yeah, okay, so draw the top card of the encounter deck. The bright lights kind of, as they continue to shiver, Alessandra motions for River and Bianca to move forward. And from outside of the path, a squeal of panic as, once again, Appendage's hands rise up from below and grasp at her ankles. Test agility 3. For each point you fail by, take a damage. It's not great. But I'm going to do it because I think Alessandra might be thinking, is this all in my mind? Let's just test 4 to 3. Perfect. A pass. She manages to skip nimbly out of the way, and looking back, no hand. Just a small bit of rocky outcropping. She kind of blinks in a bit of confusion. I guess I'm gonna try to evade Zamacona. Action. Move. She races up ahead. The overgrown tunnel. Thick, sinewy roots choke the surrounding tunnels. While overgrown tunnel has clues on it, you must spend an additional action to move out of the tunnel. Or we can try to chop out these branches. But first, we have something more important to deal with. As she races around the corner, Bianca turns back to sort of make sure that River is keeping up. River rolls their eyes. Yes, yes, of course. Who did you say you were again? The dog? Bianca bares her teeth. We can't parley with Zamacona, so we're going to try to evade him. 4 to 3. Oh my god. I think this is good, though. This is very good. I think we're going to see what we can do about this. Somehow, because the two other people with Alessandra are bickering with each other, she alone sees Zamacona standing, hands folded in front of him, crisp suit covered in not one speck of dust or lichen or overgrowth or calcification. Hair perfectly gelled, palmated. And he smiles and waggles a finger at her. I'm going to evade at 4 to 3. I wish I had a backstab, but we're just going to do our best here. 4 to 3. Amazing. Okay, perfect. Okay, I succeeded. I evaded an enemy. So I'm going to pickpocket him and draw a card, which is kicking the hornet's nest. That's okay. Alessandra moves towards him and then as she is walking towards a overgrown bit of sort of some strange sort of roots and vines growing around a stalactite, she ducks out of sight, leaving him to wonder where she's gone. Now I realize that didn't actually do anything per se. I am not going to bother putting a doom on him. I really want to get to the control station. So I think that's my last action, which kind of sucks. We upkeep. I knew it. I absolutely knew it was going to be this. Zamacona readies, and we take the Silver Moth. The Silver Moth. Put the Silver Moth into play in your threat area, or take a horror. Shuffle it into your deck. Double action, discard the Silver Moth. Alessandra ducks out of sight, hoping that Zamacona is indeed just a trick of her mind. And suddenly the weight of something in her bag causes her to look down. She feels a strange pricking sensation on her wrist and notices that beautiful piece of decoration she stole from the old man's house in Arkham has managed to prick her. She kind of reaches out to put the Silver Moth back in her bag and then realizes with some degree of horror that she left it at her safe house back on the mainland. What is it doing here? Okay, I have a plan for this turn, but we have to, of course, we have to mythos first. We go to 4 out of 5 doom, and we draw an encounter card. Hiya! It's a ghoul minion. Oh, I did not know it was going to be an enemy. This is getting bad. It was a colossal and nameless blasphemy with glaring red eyes, and it held in bony claws a thing that had been a man, gnawing at the head as a child nibbles at a stick of candy. This is really not good. Yeah, not great at all. I have a plan forming here, team. A sudden gasp of horror and fright from behind her causes Alessandra to look around. She catches sight of that shadow again, Zamacona. And a creature. She counts 1, River, 2, Bianca, 3, herself, but 4, Zamacona, but a strange figure, a thing, a horror, a beast with an elongated face, jaw, some sort of strange bat humanoid creature is bearing down on Bianca and River. Hello, Crosshair. So Crosshair, I'll give you the Cole's notes here. In upkeep. Last turn I drew Zamacona, who I evaded successfully. In upkeep, I drew my weakness, the Silver Moth. And then in Mythos, I drew the Ghoul Minion. It's all happening all at once. I have to get to the control station, like, now. Which is gonna be quite something. It's all coming together. Oh, God. Okay. Let's consider. I would like to move out of a location with an enemy. That will replenish my Fox Mask. Overgrown Tunnel says, while it has clues on it, you must spend an extra action to move out of it. I need 2 clues to move into the control station. That's fine. Getting a clue would be great. So I could beguile the minion, the ghoul, investigate, and then move, which would put a doom on Zamacona. But yeah, well, great questions, Crosshair. Currently it is 4 out of 5 doom. So in fact, this is the last turn before the agenda advances. I have to move all doom on it to the next agenda. But the doom on Zamacona will go away. Yeah, exactly right. So ideally it would be like get a clue, double action move, which is not crazy. I would beguile the ghoul minion, but then beguile is fast, and it would give me the action to parley with the ghoul. The problem very specifically then I have is I don't really... I could also evade then. I'm going to be beguiling the ghoul, that's for sure. 2 resources. Beguile. Attach it to a non-elite enemy at your location. Zamacona cannot be parlayed with, so I can't ever try to do this. Zorzi steps out and whispers a few words under her tongue, words that were taught to her by someone many, many moons ago. And suddenly the ghoul minion ceases its snarling, drops its head, and turns towards her. Action, parley. Either move the enemy, so I can move it out of my threat area and away, or I can investigate here. Oh. Well, yeah, so that's interesting, Crosshair. I'm going to have to figure that out, because the doom goes on Zamacona. When you advance the agenda, doom gets removed, except this says move all doom on this agenda to the next agenda, but the doom isn't on the agenda, it's on him. So I think it would be discarded. That's my thought anyway. I could investigate here. 4-2. 5-2 with kicking the hornet's nest. And then I could... So let's do it. I'm adding a doom to Zamacona. The man chuckles his strange, exactly, Crosshair. That's my thought. I'm going to use this parley to investigate. The ghoul minion, she asks, oh, fuck, 3 shroud. What I really want is fine clothes. Now, all of a sudden, I really want my fine clothes down. No, you have to try sometimes, right? If I were to play a card, so evade, play a card, get a clue, move. It's 4 actions. It's doable. Let's attempt to evade the ghoul minion first. I'm gonna attempt to evade the ghoul minion to start. 4 to 2. That's what I want to do. I want to get it out of my threat area here. Cool. Okay. That draws me a card, which is another Beguile, but I can't play it on Zamacona, so that's okay. I've evaded the ghoul minion. It kind of... I didn't... Well, I'm going to have to parley, I guess, so it's fine. This is all... I think this is all going to work here, team. Yeah, I think this is all going to work. I'm going to spend an action and a resource to play Fine Clothes. This causes Zamacona to attack me. Put the damage on me. Well, I just chose to evade normally. Because I'm gonna have to... Well, yeah, whatever. It's fine. Let's call that my parley, yeah. So it dooms Zamacona. That's fine. It's only the first time each round, so I can do it. I don my Fine Clothes. He attacks me. And then he's elusive, so he disengages, moves to a connecting empty location, and exhausts. Let's actually put him over here in the control station, because I want to fuck this guy up at some point. Yeah, I'm going to fuck this guy up at some point. Pardon my French. Okay. Okay. Great. 2 actions. Third action, I'm going to parley again. I'm going to use the ghoul minion to investigate this tunnel, which I'm investigating at 4 to 3, but it's a parley, so no, exactly, Crosshair, but I'm doing it anyway because I think I can manage this. Alessandra is essentially like speaking this strange language that is somehow beyond language. It is. She's been called silver-tongued before, and people don't understand that something hides behind Alessandra's smile. She knows not just words, but sounds, concepts that cause people and things to bend to her will. The ghoul minion is evaded, but it continues to sniff things out, looking for a way through the tunnel. She asks it, in her way, to tear apart strange overgrowth from their path forward. So this means that because I'm parleying to investigate, I am at 4 to 1. I will go with that. Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay, great. Awesome. We get the clue, which means as a last action, I can move out. It will replenish this offering, which we like. I don't have the scrap from here, but that's okay. Well, while it has clues on it, you must spend an additional action to move. That was my thought, is that if I get this clue, all of a sudden it becomes 1 action to move. It was a bit of a risk, to be sure, because otherwise I'd be completely fucked. As an additional cost to enter control station, investigators must spend 2 clues. Yeah, risky for sure, and confused for sure. You're like, but why are you doing this? Okay. The lantern in the shed is lit. Who was here before you? Well, Zamacona, of course. Let's reveal the control station. 1 shroud, 2 clues. The back of the station is filled with crates of very old dynamite and stocks of gunpowder. There's a free trigger here. It says, during your turn, swap 2 adjacent rail locations, limit once per game. Well, sometimes, anyway. At the end of the round, if we're at control station advance. Okay, great. Dung powder. That's it for me. So no ready enemies. So we go to upkeep. We ready the ghoul minion. It is still beguiled. It is still under our beguiling influence. We are still the strange figure known as Zamacona, the man who instructed Alessandra to steal... Sorry. Zamacona instructed Alessandra to carry out a theft at a fancy party, and the silver moth is something that she took for herself at this same party. Perhaps he is here now to get it back. I'm really hoping I can, like, I don't know, stab this guy or something, get rid of him. However, it is now the end of the round, so we advance, and then we will be advancing the agenda, and then I think I'm going to call it here. We'll see. A chunk of... Oh, sorry, no turning back. A chunk of rock falls from the ceiling, narrowly missing you. More rocks come loose, forcing you deeper. Oh, shit. Remove each cave location from the game. Damn it! Okay, discarding enemies, tokens, and attachments at those locations. Shit. Oh, if I had pushed Zamacona back. There's no way to know. Remove each cave location from the game, discarding all enemies, tokens, and attachments. Okay, well, that's that, I guess. This leaves, the fog leaves, this is gone. Beguile is dead, as is the ghoul. Tragic. And so is this location, that's fine. Okay, control station continues to exist. Real shame. Exactly. If River Hawthorne is in play but not under control of any investigator, remove them. Okay, great. Really glad I didn't mess that up. Each investigator loses all but 2 of their clues. Well, well, well. I have exactly 2 clues. The cave-in forces them to all scream as they run further into the tunnel. Alessandra looks around, but cannot see Zamacona for now. If it is Agenda 1A, advance directly to Agenda 2A. Do not resolve Agenda 1B. When this agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda. Okay, well, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to remove the doom on Zamacona, because I think that's how that works. I'm advancing directly to Agenda 2A. You search for supplies. Your search for supplies will help you navigate whatever is ahead. Flip the scenario reference card over to its other side, moving all scraps on it to that side as switches. Read the scenario interlude, The Cave-In. Okay, so I have 3 scraps, which is actually 3 switches. Okay, I don't know what that does, but that's terrifying. The Cave-In, let's have a look. Where is... see page 10? The cave-in. As the rumbling subsides, you look back at the collapsed tunnel. There is no way back. With no other recourse, you follow the old rail line into the darkness. After some time, you come upon a brightly lit shed next to an old mine cart on the nearby tracks. Now, is this Zamacona leading Alessandra out of the darkness? You know, like, you're not done serving me yet? Or... is this a stroke of luck? Oh, hi, Flower. Welcome back. You haven't missed the ending. Flower. We just got trapped in a big cave-in, but we managed to survive the cave-in. Bianca's still with us. River is still with us. Zamacona, our strange boss from somewhere on the island back on the mainland, is here too for some reason. If it is day, proceed to the cave-in too. The shed is a former rail control station repurposed as a clubhouse. Good question, Flower. I don't know. Hand-drawn maps and charts cover the walls and ceiling. They appear to be in a young person's handwriting. Simon Atwood, for sure. If someone was here recently, they may currently be trapped in the mine along with you. Well, River Hawthorne is with me now. Skip to the cave-in 4. With the entrance collapsed, the only way out of the mine is through. Hell yeah. You push the mine cart forward with every ounce of your strength and jump in, hoping the rusted tracks hold up. Oh boy. Gather all 15 set-aside rail locations. Oh, there's an Act 2 rail. There's an Act 2 setup. Pow! Whoa! What the shit? All right, time to get railed. Exactly, Splooey. Just keep going through. Hi, Splooey. Welcome to Doomed, solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. I don't think so either, Crosshair. Shuffle all 4 to... A reminder that Drew Crew is in an hour and a quarter, not 15 minutes. Though, just as a reminder. Shuffle all 4 2-card piles. Okay. And place 1 card from each into this deck. What? Whoa, hang on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to read the thing rather than... Okay. Place the rail exit and 7 rail tunnel locations as shown. So what do we got here? A rail exit. Horizontal tunnels, left turn. There's a rail tunnel. What the fuck is this? What the absolute good goddamn is this? Tunnel, 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 tunnel. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so it makes a little 5, and then there's a 6th over here and a 7th down there. Okay. And the control station is down here. Like, get those resources out. Get those resources out of here. Wouldn't mind getting 2 clues, I'll tell you that for free. And I don't need this anymore. Okay. Yeah, the control station is down here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The 7 depicted rail tunnel locations as shown. Shuffle the remaining rail locations. Place 1 in each space, marked with a question mark. Shuffle all 4 2-card boxes. Ah! Okay, okay, so shuffle all the 2-card piles. Whoops. Very cool. Okay, then shuffle... Okay. Oh, into this deck, the random... Aha! Okay, 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 okay. I see. So this is a way of kind of... Again, sort of semi-randomizing stuff. And then place the cards in the spaces marked in the campaign guide. So, there's 1 there. There's... Oh god, I should actually be paying attention to where they are. 1, 2, 3. So 1, and then an empty space. Yeah, let's do it that way. Oh, this should be here. Okay. No, that goes there. God damn it. What the hell? So weird. Okay. It should be... What's weird to me is... Yeah. Well, exactly. I think so too, weirdness, which is annoying because, I don't know, why is this organized sort of so... But I think it's okay. Okay, at the top, there's the exit. That one's been placed. That one's there. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Thing. 1. Empty space. Oh, but I placed that one. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then 1, 2, empty space. 3, 4. Place 1. Then 1, 2. I'm just doing this, guys. Sorry. 3, 4. Okay. Yeah. I think that's why it's annoying me. So basically, we have the control thing, and then there's 3 things above it, and then so 4. Well, let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, which is the exit. 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. Done. I think it's probably fine. Place the set-aside minecart asset at the control place a resource on the scenario reference card as a switch. Don't mind if I diggity-do. That's 4. Hashtag switches. Place the set-aside minecart at the control station and choose which direction it is facing. Place each investigator minicard in the minecart. If either Simon Atwood or Leah Atwood are set aside, place them at the topmost location in column 2. Okay, so Simon's here. That's nice. The game placed that. Well, I'm gonna go get this guy. The whole point of coming into this tunnel was to find this goddamn troublemaker and recruit him to our side. So that's the plan. Right, I need the bottom location in 4. Okay, I need the minecart. Minecart! Yeah, I think that's the case, right? Minecart. I'm gonna choose that it is facing up because I want to go get Simon first. So I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna see what it does. Places that are gonna, guys, we're gonna be ending the stream shortly before Act 2, but I just want to, shuffle this back in here. I'm gonna just get the setup done, and we'll talk story points here. Sliding and swapping. Okay, Act 2. No. There we go. Each rail has one or more rail icons printed on it. They represent the track the minecart is moving along. When a rail icon on one location faces a rail icon on an adjacent location, they are aligned. Adjacent locations with the line rail icons are connected to each other and form a rail line. Okay. Sliding and swapping locations allows the investigators to create a path to the rail exit by aligning the rail line. To slide a location, choose a location with an empty space adjacent, move it into that empty space. To swap them, move each of them to the other space. Locations with story assets cannot be slid or swapped. The minecart. Okay, I love this. So, okay, this is exactly those puzzles that Aragon always gets so mad at me for, like, being bad at, but that's okay. I can slide, say, this location into this empty space, and all of a sudden, these guys are aligned in their rails. These guys are aligned in their rails. These guys are aligned, right? We can do this. Yes, exactly. I don't get mad. I get disappointed. I am kidding, Aragwen, I know. Me too, Aragwen. I wish I had your brain in my head. Not to be weird about it. Also, Aragwen, are we excited for Drew Crew in an hour and 10 minutes, where we will probably meet more of Dr. Spire, who sounds like a skeleton, but also apparently sounds a bit like you. Okay, locations with story assets can not be swapped. Fine. Just making sure there's anything here that I need. No. Okay, great. Oh, perfect, Aragwen. I'm telling a thrilling story. An investigator in the minecart is at its location. Investigators cannot move independently of the minecart. When the minecart moves, we move with it. It has a rail icon on its right side that indicates the direction it is facing. It must always face the same direction as one of its rail icons. Fine. While moving the minecart, it can only move along a rail line. Fine. When it enters a location, you may turn it 90 degrees to face the same direction as a rail icon, so it stays on its rail. The minecart can only move in the direction its rail icon is facing. Great. If it moves into a thing that doesn't have a complete rail line, it falls off. For example, let's have a look at the minecart. So this is not aligned with the place to its right. As you can see here, it has a rail icon on the bottom right, but the one next to it does not. However, I can do this. Oh shit, and the one above it is also fucked. So I'm gonna have to use a switch to do something here. Whoa. I love it. During your turn, swap 2 adjacent rail locations. Well, I'm gonna be doing that right away. Probably swapping these 2 immediately. Anyway, let's look at minecart. At the end of the enemy phase, move minecart once. If it moves off the rail line, each investigator is defeated and suffers a physical trauma. Shit. When minecart moves, spend a switch cancel the move, or move an additional time twice per phase. Okay, it's reliable, but broken. So the plan is to try to chug our way up to here and rescue Simon, whatever his name is. Okay, I think I understand. How do I rotate the minecart? When the minecart enters a location, you may turn it 90 degrees. Okay. If it is night, blah, blah, blah. Set the remaining stuff aside. Shuffle the encounter deck. Resume playing. Okay. Agenda 2A. Dangerous ride. You now know why North Point Mine was abandoned. Writhing abominations and frenzied miners prowl the tunnels, hungry for their next meal. Locations with a story asset cannot be slid or swapped. Each enemy gains Hunter and resolves its Hunter keyword an additional time during the enemy phase. Yuck. When they move, they are each adjacent location is considered to be connected. Woof. Okay, so hunters are hunting through the mines. There's howling and screaming. Zamacona laughs his strange melodic laugh. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what I just did. That's fine. Hunters be hunting. Let's have a look here at Agenda 2A. The underground maze. The only way out of North Point Mine is through the maze of rail tunnels. Aha! Free trigger during your turn. Spend a clue. Slide a location or swap to adjacent locations. I can also use the control station to do that, and I can also use switches to... I can use switches to go faster or cancel the move. Okay. Action, spend a resource, slide a revealed location into empty space. Action, if the prismatic shard story asset is at your location, take control. Great. We'll probably want this prismatic shard if we can get a hold of it. Objective, get to the rail exit. When the minecart enters rail exit, immediately advance. I think I'm going to leave it here for today. We've got Zamacona laughing his ass off. I would love to punch this guy to death, but it's probably not going to happen. We'll see. We've got River with us. The 2 clues we need to befriend River, or to help River. Bianca is still alive. Well, we are in the minecart. The minecart is... The minecart has on it one little rail thing, which you can turn. I can decide which way it's facing. Obviously, not obviously. The 2 things that I randomly put next to me do not have rails aligned in the proper direction. So I'm going to have to do some swapping when we come back, when we next play Arkham Horror, the card game. That's okay. I have a free trigger here to swap some adjacent rails, and I can spend switches to do stuff, and I can move stuff around. We're going on a crazy-ass minecart ride next time. Zamacona laughs and tells... I'm thinking of him sort of as, like, the G-Man, basically, from Half-Life, right? He basically tells Alessandra, like, you know, you found your way in here, you find your way out, and stalks off into the darkness. The plan is to move shit around, try to rescue Simon, try to get this prismatic shard. I don't know what that does, but it's going to be fun. Yeah, you're not wrong, Flower. Sigh. Guys, I'm really hoping to continue this ASAP, but of course it is very important for me to eat some food and do a little bit of work before, that's right, Drew Crew, which is coming up in about 1 hour's time on Elizabeth's channel. Please join us. We just started a new book, so if you haven't watched Drew Crew in a while, it's new, it's unhinged as hell. We're reading, oh my god, I've forgotten the name of it. We're reading We Do Weirdness. The secret, the password at Larkspur Lane is what we're reading. There's a bone doctor, there's a pigeon with a secret message. It's unhinged as hell. Come and join us for that in about an hour's time. And then we hope to see you tomorrow. It's Punchy Book Club at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by Montreal by Moonlight at 2 p.m. That's right, we're back to our afternoon time, which everybody loves. Everybody liked that. Thank you so much for joining me on Doomed. I'm thrilled to be back. I don't know why Alessandra's found her way down into a minecart scenario, but maybe we're going to be like... I don't know, maybe she's just on a sweet-ass adventure. Guys, I'm really excited about it. Thanks so much for joining me. We're gonna see you next time on Doomed. Bye-bye.